Missed the live show? Don't worry, we recorded it for you. Never miss out on your favourite presenters, guests and makes ever again. Head on over to our YouTube pages to watch back the day's live show and enjoy your favourite demos over and over again. We also have lots of great content exclusive to our YouTube pages, such as product demonstrations, troubleshooting videos, and so much more. Subscribe and turn on the bell notification so you never miss a show or video ever again.
We know that shopping online can be a confusing and sometimes daunting task, and sometimes all you want to do is talk to a human being. Well, our family-run customer service team are on call 24/7. They're full of friendly, warm-hearted individuals, all trained to make your shopping experience as easy and as enjoyable as possible. And not only will they take your order, they will also help and guide you on your shopping journey, so you never miss out.
If you're a Sewing Street or Yarn Lane customer, no matter how many times you check out in one day, you will only pay one postage and packaging. So don't wait to add the item you want to your basket and check out. You will only pay one P&P even if you check out multiple times in one day.
Keep up to date with what's on Sewing Street and Yarn Lane, as well as all the latest news and special offers by signing up to our email newsletters. For Sewing Street, head on over to www.sewingstreet.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the homepage, type in your email address, click the envelope, and you're done. It's exactly the same for Yarn Lane. Head on over to www.yarnlane.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the homepage, type in your email address, click the envelope, and that's it. You are now subscribed to both Sewing Street's and Yarn Lane's email newsletters, so you'll never miss out on the latest news and special offers ever again.
Are you a fan of Sewing Street and Yarn Lane? Why not join our growing Facebook fans pages? Just search Sewing Street Fans and Yarn Lane TV Fans on Facebook and click Join Group. It's that simple. Never miss out on the latest news and updates from our presenters and guest designers, special offers and plenty of chat with your fellow fans. Share photos of your makes, ask for advice, interact with your favourite guests and presenters, and be a part of the ever-growing sewing and yarn community. See you there!
I know I say this every day, but this really shouldn't be an early bird. Good morning. Good morning. But you know what? Oh, she'll want it this way, won't she? Look at today's early bird, he said, shouting very loud in his earpiece. Look, it's Eau de Coat. You're saving £3. Now, if you've never come across Eau de Coat before, it's this white, I'm going to open it. It's this white, oh, I was going to open it. I've just moisturised, my hands are a bit slippy. There you go. Look, it's this white gloopy. So if you put it on with a paintbrush or with an old credit card onto your fabric, you kind of put it on and then scrape it off a little bit. And it turns your fabric into like PVC. Like PVC. It kind of gives it that oilcloth, that's what it's like. Makes it kind of water or shower resistant or water resistant. It's brilliant. If you do it once, you can do it up to 3 times, basically. If you do it once, and then excuse me, you do it once and then leave it for 24 hours. Or if you're going to do it more than once, you do it once, leave it for 2 hours, do it the second time, leave it for 2 hours, the third time, leave it for 24 hours, then cut it out and start making it. It's brilliant. It is fantastic. First of all, you're saving your £3. Also, like all of Kerry's, Kerry did all of her little makeup bags and everything yesterday. We always say you can always do it, eau de coat it afterwards as well. You can do it afterwards. And also, once it's fixed and once it's done, you can machine wash it. Which other projects like it, Hannah always wants me to say, do not become machine washable. I know, £11.99. It is brilliant. Oh, now Hannah's saying when your eyeshadow falls out in your makeup bag, what difference does that make? Oh, when it falls out, I don't know what you're talking about. When it falls out of its container in your microwave. I hate it worse when you put shampoo in your wash bag to go away and then you get to the hotel and the shampoo's all leaked all over your bag. If you've OD coated the inside, then you wouldn't have that, would you? You'd still have it all over the stuff inside your bag, but it wouldn't be all over your clothes in the suitcase, would it? £11.99 this is. £3 off. Cushion in the garden if it gets caught in the rain. Oh, okay. Hannah would make bags for her shoes. Why would you put this on your shoes? Inside. She'd make a bag for her shoes. Then she goes walking on a holiday in her trainers. She doesn't want her... Oh, okay. She doesn't want the mud, so that you're going to put it in the suitcase with wet mud on. I see. £11.99. Take no notice of Hannah. Just buy it. It's brilliant. It's fantastic stuff. It really does create... We used to have... Oh, no, it wasn't here. I was going to say, we used to have 3 samples of it actually painted on. Maybe we should do that here as well. £11.99. Oh, collector in Dublin. Please ring the customer service team. Hannah can't do anything to help you with that, I'm afraid. It's not she's being difficult. We just don't have access to what you need. You do need to ring the call centre. It's round the corner. They're open. Well, I should hope they're open. 0800 001 4433. They're there all night, 24 hour. Okay, Hannah's now saying back of a quilt for the garden. Tablecloth for alfresco dining. Also, Emma's got a friend coming down tomorrow for the first time. She's seen her in ages and ages, but obviously they're going to be in the garden. It's going to rain, so it'd be good for Emma for her tablecloth for tomorrow. You won't have time to do it for between now and then, though, Emma. 11.19. You have to sit in the rain this time. Oh, hang on, what cushions? 11.99. I think you do all sorts of things with it. Mandy Shaw does a little beach bag out of it. You could do little children's capes out of it. There's all sorts of things you can use it for. £11.99. I know. Just come on through and get it. Oh, there's lots on. You keep looking at that. I'll just do a few messages while we're checking out on that. Crikey, there's so many people. Carol says morning. Princess says morning. Anne says morning. Cousin Susan says good morning. Alison Marion's watching. Patsy says good morning. Anne says good morning. Jackie says good morning, John, and lovely crafty people. Carol says good morning. What a fabulous shirt, Cousin Susan says. Laurie says John and team, love, love, love the shirt. Morag, good morning. Best way to spend my birthday than with the lovely John and team. Morag, happy birthday. Oh, hang on. Morag. No, you can't sing it. Stop singing. Susan says, good morning, John and everyone. A bright morning here in Derbyshire, says Susan. June says that shirt is stunning. Claire says, good morning, John. Sunny in Silverstone, lovely shirt. Glennie says, good morning, John. Anne says, morning, John. Love the shirt. Eau coat would be good for yesterday's hat. Yes, thank you. Yesterday's hat would be perfect for that. Love the shirt, says Susan. Judy says, good morning. Gerardine says, hi, John. I've got to say, I loved your modelling the hat yesterday. You're a natural. Thank you. Margaret says, another wonderful shirts remind me of fruit salad. I'll tell you what it is in a minute. Derek says, good morning. Hannah, Emma and John, loving today's shirt. They say, hello, hello. Julie says, morning, John and team. Jill says, morning. Oh, no, Jill. Feeling quite poorly after my second jab. You see, Jill, a lot of people have said that to me. They've had their second jab and were fine after their first one. Just so you know, it's not a fruit salad. I'll just put it into shot. Look. Oh, hang on, that won't be. That's upside down. Hang on. How are you going to shot? Which about? No, look, there you go. It's unity. It's all people holding hands. People of the world all holding hands, look. It's called unity, this. They do it in a ladies' blouse as well. Claudia Lugley. Right, keep going through for that, because Emma Bradford's given me the evil eye to get on, you see. Marina says good morning. Suzanne says good morning. Sue says good morning. Well done if you got that. And remember, once it's done and paid for, that's your P&P paid for the whole day. So if you come and buy a quilt kit or some cross stitch or some something from Yarn Lane, or the P&P is covered because once you paid it once. Oh, I had a silk and a lunch bag. That's just a carrier bag, isn't it, for you? $11.99. $11.99. It's because she hasn't got a bag Goldie coated that she has to use a carrier bag. Georgina says, good morning, John. Glennie said, had my second jab, I'm okay. Oh, Gerardine says hello, Emma. She's not here yet. She's over there. Got two Emmas, two today. Stuart says, morning, John. And, ooh, yes, I love that shirt. Right. Message on my bottom from Teddy. Eau de Coat would be great for the inside of a storage pod you featured last weekend to prevent staining from whatever you've put in them. Teddy in Wimbledon. Like when Hannah puts her garlic in, you mean? I know. Another message very quickly. Bona da, everyone. Welsh. Bona da. Loving your shirt, John. Off to work soon. Hate missing Sewing Street. Lots of love from Ellen in Carmarthenshire. Excuse me. Watch on. Catch up later. The one day I don't have my water, it's over on that desk. I start coughing. Morning, John and team. Can you use Eau de Coat on any fabric? More or less. You can't use it on like a very open weave fabric like Hessian and things like that. But any cottons or polycottons or silks or anything like that, yes, you can do. In fact, I'll just double check. I'm sure that's right. Oh, it's all in. It's acid free. Cottons, jeans, lace or anything. Once dry, it creates an insulating film that resists against stains and humidity. There you go. Yeah. I know. You can't use it on your hair, Emma. Not Emma Bradford. This is Emma Director, Emma. $11.99. Right, I'm going to go on to the panel of the week. What day is it today? Friday. Now, remember, this is a panel that we introduce on a Tuesday, different every week. Last week's had sold out by now. and when this sells out, when the week is up, so on Sunday, when I show this on Sunday for the last time, on Monday the price goes up to, it's $4.99 today, it goes up to $7.99. ZCUU05. You don't get the glasses. The graphics aren't working. Is it ZCUU05? That's where we're going wrong. If you're doing an apron, Hannah says, do it with your Eau de Coat. You can use for anything. Alice and Marion's used these on little bags. Well, there we go. We'll go up to $7.99. We'll go up to $7.99 on Monday. And that was the apron I just held up, you see. This is what Alice and Marion made out of it. She makes other things as well. And the bunting was made out of the spare white fabric off the panel and the fabric pens. Got it? Okay. We've moved on from Eau de Coat now. $4.99. Hannah's still thinking about Eau de Coat. Morning, John, Hannah. Weather sunny here in Chipping Norton. Oh, Sue, it's Amanda Norton. Does Amanda Holden still live there? I had my second jab on Tuesday. It was fine. No reaction, says Jan. I had what my son calls the Vauxhall Astra vaccine. Eau de Coat is great for baby changing mats and bibs. AC didn't say that, Hannah. No, that was at the beginning. Making pots of them for Amy. Morning, John and crew. Gorgeous sunshine in Roster. Chilly, though. Fabulous shirt. Carol said, does it ever go off, the early bird? Does it ever go off? Oh, does this go off? I don't think so. I don't think it does. Oh, okay. Hannah had hers for over a year. She could still use it, but it smelled funny. Okay. Jackie says, morning, John. Bright but chilly in Great Sutton. We had a huge hailstorm last night. So did we. We had the hailstorm yesterday afternoon. Ghislaine says, good morning, John. Marcy says, morning, everyone. Missed the programme yesterday because I had my second dose of the vaccine and did a little bit of shopping. Oh, Marcia. Right. Oh, I don't think you can Eau de Coat your trainers, can you? I've not heard of that one. I don't know. I'm not going to say yes to that one, I'm afraid, Jackie. And also, it depends what kind of trainers they are, I suppose, doesn't it? If they're like a canvas one, a canvassy one, then you could do, I suppose. But I'm not going to say yes or no because I don't know the answer, so I'm not going to give him. Yeah, if you've got a brand new pair of designer trainers, don't be saying, oh, John Scott told me to paint them with Eau de Coat. Anyway, I'm imagining if they're not splash-proof or waterproof, then they'll be fabric, you know. Right. Now, shall we have a look at today's menu? Here it is. Right, so coming up today, we've got the Woodland Patch Quilt. That's with Emma Bradford from a new collection we've got. I'm just spraying the table so it's all nice and sanitised for Emma. That's why I got the big blue toilet roll out. There you go. We have to do this between every single time. But I don't mind. I don't mind at all. I'd rather be safe than sorry. But nobody ever comes out to help me, you know. Right, okay. Right, let's have a look at the menu. Woodland batch quilt. Coming up with Emma Bradford. It's lovely. With new fabric. We've got Cross Stitch Guild at 9 o'clock with Jane Greenoff. She's been here for hours. I can't tell you. She's been here at the crack of dawn this morning. Then, sorry, go on. Hannah wants you to know. Oh, the Cross Stitch Guild kits are already selling, just so you know. Right, then at 10 o'clock, we've got the Schoolhouse and Ivy quilt with Emma Bradford. Now, I've got a picture of it. First of all, you're going to think it's a big quilt. Look, you think, oh, that looked lovely on the wall. Here it is in proportion to your friction pen. It's a miniature quilt. It's a miniature quilt. They're pieced. They're pieced. Tiny, 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 tiny pieces. If you follow Emma on social media, you'll have seen her doing it. Could you make any more noise? Then what we're doing next, then Jane Greenoff's back with more. We've got some brand new goodies in both of Jane's hours today, 11 o'clock. Then at 12 o'clock, we close this studio down. We all run down the road to the Yarn Lane studio, where we've got Vanessa Winwood, and we're doing a brand new skill today, and it's called Crocodile Stitch Crochet. Crocodile Stitch Crochet. I know, fantastic. There are 3 ways you can get in touch. You can send an email, studio@sewingstreet.com, studio@sewingstreet.com. You send a message on Facebook Live, which are all the ones I've been shouting out. My son, the paramedic, was a bit ill with his second jab, but Becky wasn't. Well, that's because Becky's, you know. Wendy says, good morning. Tina says, morning, John. Had my cataracts removed yesterday, so I can see you bright and clear. You look 10 years younger. Don't you mean I look older? I don't you mean. Or you can go to the website and you can click on Watch the Show Live. Now, there's the early bird already there. There's the panel already there. But see on the right-hand side, there's a box there. You can send a message there. And they're the boxes that come up as white boxes across the bottom of the screen. Scroll down the page and you will see there's today's early bird and the panel. So now you'll see underneath there's today's show deals. Every time we have shown something or played something during the show, it will appear there. If it's sold out, it will say sold out in great big capitals underneath it. But the column on the right is pre-order. So you click on your pre-order and then you can see everything that we've got coming up in today's show. So that's Emma's first hour with the quilt, and there you go. Then we're moving on to Jane Greenoff's cross stitch. Lots of new products there to see. That's nice, isn't it? That's lovely. Beautiful, beautiful pieces. Then we go to Emma's second quilt from the miniature quilt book, brand new to us here at Sewing Street. 3 bundles and a light box and now what's that on the right hand side? Oh, then we go. No, not that. We'll talk about that one. Then we go to Jane's hour again, second hour of Jane Greenoff. Right, there's 2 small bundles. We've got 2 bundles here, which just have, that one has Ada and threads and a chart, and it also comes in linen for beginners, especially if you're a card maker. Both of those selling very fast. In fact, when Jane had them on last, they'd sold before she got on air. So she's brought more to us today, but we just need to warn you. Oh, I don't know why they've taken a picture of 2 hippos. There's only 1 hippo. You get 1. It's a magnet, a needle magnet. They're going to go as well. Is it a him or is it her? Oh, they're both hims, apparently. Morning, says Margaret. Beautiful shirt. Thank you, Margaret. Right, and then carry on, because we've still got more. There's all of Jane. There's some threads, some moulin threads. Right, then, of course, Sewing Street stops and Yarn Lane starts. And Yarn Lane is already on pre-order as well. Now, the kits, just so you know, the kits that we've got, the book is included in the kit. The only thing that's not included is your crochet hook, just so you know. So don't think, oh, I've got to buy the book and the kit. The book is in the kit. We've got the book on its own as well, but that's Yarn Lane. That's 12 o'clock. That seems an eternity away, doesn't it? Right, it might be nearly your weekend, Hannah. I'm here all weekend, aren't I? Day 4 of 6, everybody, in the Big Brother house. Right, come on then, let's have a look at this. Right, now, we haven't got this quilt made up. We've got a print of it on the wall behind where I was earlier. But this is it. Let me take it out of the bag so you can see what it is. We've done a bundle. Oh, hang on. Can't even get it out of the bag. Oh, there we go, there we go. It's the Woodland patch. Now, what we've done, let me just explain. We've done a bundle for it, and all the fabrics that we are able to sell by the half metre are on the website. I'm not going to be going through them today. They are on the website, but just to warn you, a lot of them are selling fast, right? So this is your pattern. You get the pattern in the bundle. And these are the actual fabrics that this quilt is made of. This is a Nutex design, and this is the actual fabrics that they've used within that. It just looks very small on there. So what you get in the bundle is you get half a metre. These are lovely, these fabrics. Oh, wrong web. I'm just going to show you them. Look, half a metre of the foxes and rabbits in Woodland. You get half a metre of your cheeky foxes. Well, they look cheeky, don't they? I don't know if they've got a name, actually. But anyway, then you've got half a metre of your trees. This is nice. So as I say, a lot of these fabrics are available by the half metre if you just wanted half metre or some of these fabrics for another project. Then we've got half a metre of rabbits on grey. Cute, aren't they? I love this one. This one is a metre of stripe. And this one is 2 metres of your plain white, right? Now, that's not all. That's not all, because in the bundle, now this is not available on its own. It's only in the bundle, right? It's 2 metres of lollipop fabric. So you get all of those fabrics for 2 metres. Well, no, I'm calling it a lollipop. They call it a panel stripe. A panel stripe, they call it, but it's known in the industry, isn't it, as a lollipop. Oh, mind you, do lollipops go that way? Have you got your radio on? No. Oh, sorry. No, I know what she's like. She listens to crime fiction, doesn't she, while she's prepping. Where's the volume thing on this? I'll have to sort that out. It's me. It's me chatting away on Facebook Live on there. I can hear myself, but I thought it was a murder mystery that she's listening to. Anyway, that's the whole bundle there for $84.99. What size is the finished quilt? Somebody's asked. It did just say on the front there. Hang on. Finished quilt is 60 inches square. So as you can see, Emma's going to explain all this. There's 3 different blocks in there. Then there's a border and a border. Then there's another border here that is done slightly differently to how you think it's going to be done. But Emma's going to go through all that with us now. Okay, £84.19. Right, now I'll tidy all this away in a second while Emma's sewing, but I just wanted to show you a couple of other things. Now Emma loves, Emma absolutely loves this Quilter's multi-mat. Now both of mine, you'll see it being used. I'll let Emma show it to you when she comes to work it. But it's brilliant because it's an ironing board, it's a cutting mat, and it's no, hang on. It's got the. I'm going to open it. It'll be easier if I open it. It's got the sandpaper in it for when you have to draw on it to stop the thing sliding along. There you go. So yeah, there's a cutting mat. There's the piece of sandpaper here for when you're marking up half square triangles and everything like that. And you can iron on this side here. So it's $14.99. I've got it in 2 colourways. Half the stock I've got. That's the floral one. Now, I've not seen the floral one before. Oh, apparently it was in over a year ago and not since. I've not seen this one. I didn't work here when that was first launched. So that was the floral. That's the floral one. And I've also got it in the blue dot as well. It's exactly the same, but just a different pattern on the top. £14.99, £14.99. Now, shall I do the backings now or shall I do those later? Shall we get sewing? Right, I just want to show you a picture. Hannah's got your picture of the finished quilt made up. Oh, hang on, it's not quite ready yet. It's just coming now. There you go. There's a picture of it all made up. Right, Emma Bradford, good morning. Lovely
morning.
to see you.
Likewise.
Looking very fresh and spring-like today. Oh. No Mikey today, though.
No, Mikey, no, he's at work. Yeah.
No, he's working.
Yeah.
He's working. Someone has to, I suppose, don't
Yeah.
they? Right, is this difficult to knot, this quilt?
It's sort of an advanced beginner. I
Okay,
would say,
no,
just
good to
only
know.
because some of the techniques, especially around the border, you need to match up your corners and your pieced border, which is a little bit
Okay,
trickier.
so it's not a first-timers quilt, but if
No.
you've done a bit of quilting, then that's a good one to do.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So where do we start? I'm just going to switch this off because I'm driving me mad.
So the first is all the cutting.
Right.
Now, like you said, for the lollipop fabric, so everything else is pretty straightforward cutting as you would normally do.
Right.
But the lollipop fabric, it tells you to separate the colours by stripe, basically.
Right.
Because you're going to
I
cut.
am listening, I promise.
Yeah, no worries. Because you have to cut all your pieces from each colour. Now, I've left this navy one because this is the one you need to cut borders from.
Yeah.
And I've been naughty,
Oh, yes.
so I just ripped mine. There's still plenty of fabric left to get everything that I needed.
Yeah.
Because it does damage the sort of 1/2 inch on each side.
The thing is, when I used to go fabric shopping, every fabric shop used to rip the fabric. It's something ripping off calico. It's something. I mean, I know you wouldn't do it if you were cutting your 2.5-inch
No.
strips, would you? Because you want your precision. But just to,
Yeah.
I agree with
Yeah,
you.
it's
Right.
very therapeutic.
Yeah.
I love
Oh,
the
yeah, I love
sound.
it.
Yeah, so you can if you want to rip them, there is still plenty of fabric, usable fabric left to get everything that you need from them. Or if you want to be a bit more careful, just use scissors to
Yeah.
separate all the stripes. So that's that. And then there's 3 basic blocks for the centre of the quilt, and I'm going to go through each one.
Right.
Now a couple of these are very simple. So the first one is, there we go.
Yeah. In the right place.
So just a regular square.
Does it tell you
Mm-hmm.
which fabric to use, or do you go by a picture?
It does actually tell you which fabrics to use.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, and there's a couple of different sort of colourways for each block.
Right.
So you've
Oh,
got,
yes, because the one you're doing has got a
Yeah.
yellow, but it's also got an
Yeah.
orange around
So I've got bunnies in yellow, then
Yeah.
you've got foxes in orange, and the woodland friends in the grey.
Okay.
So, and those always go, the same fabrics always go together.
The one Emma's pointed to is a computer generated, so there's lines on it that won't necessarily be on
Yes.
your finished one, and also the scale of the rabbits on yours are
Oh,
about
yeah.
that big, whereas the rabbits, I've shown you the
Yeah.
fabric on here.
It is lovely fabric.
Yeah.
And I love this pattern because it's such a nice neutral, gender neutral pattern and fabric
Yeah,
for
oh yeah,
everybody.
totally.
So I'm just going to sew these 2 together. So it's just a case of sewing your 2 shorter strips, top and bottom,
Yeah.
with a 1/4 inch seam allowance,
Yeah.
as per usual. There we go. Just going to move that a bit closer. There we go.
Laurie says, hi Emma, looking very pretty.
Oh, hi,
Quilt
thank
looks
you.
great. That's Laurie.
Hi, Laurie.
Quarter of the stock is in baskets of these quilts, just so you know.
Now you will have to be sure that you've got an accurate 1/4 inch seam, because all of your pieces are pre-cut. You might find if your seam allowance is off at this point, the next set of strips won't quite match up.
Oh, okay. What's she saying, Hannah? Oh, okay. So nothing to do with today's show. She's seen a picture of a turtle rag rug that she wants to make.
Oh, ooh, that sounds nice. Iron. So I'm just pressing my seams before opening them up to set everything. And on this block, you don't have to worry too much about which way that the seam allowances go, because there isn't really any nesting to do. Move that out of the way.
Was that too big to iron on your pad there?
Oh,
We
I
supplied
forgot.
you with a little pad
I
to iron
know,
on.
I forgot.
That's all right, that
okay.
doesn't matter.
Next time. So you see, these all fit perfectly right there. If your seam allowance is too big or too small, this strip won't quite match that
Oh,
side.
yes, of course, yes.
Yeah. So you do have to be a little bit careful of that.
And also, this is going to be typical of don't do half on one machine and half on another machine.
Yes.
Because a quarter inch, even though they both say they're quarter inch seam allowances, they can be out.
They can be a
can't
little
they?
bit different.
And I suppose with lots and lots of seams, it could be really...
It adds up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, the fabrics that are selling by the half metre on the website are flying out. The only ones you can get now on their own are trees, rabbits and foxes. They're all on the pre-order on the website if you want any of these three. Yeah, you can get them all in the bundle. The bundles are still available, but if you want them by the half metre, these three are the only ones you can now buy by the half metre.
There we go. There's my mat. It's perfect. Perfect size.
Oh, yeah.
I do love a multi-mat. So that's my first block.
Oh, the multi-mat that Emma's using is about to sell out.
Ooh.
Please be careful. More people in baskets than we've actually got.
That's my first
And
block
there's a few
done.
of the spot ones left.
Yeah, so you just continue same vein with all the rest of those. Obviously, you'll have different fabrics with different colours. Second block,
So that's quite simple then, that
It
one.
is.
Yeah.
yeah, very simple. That's probably the simplest one. The second block is actually a 4-patch,
Right.
or 9-patch rather.
I was going to say, which one's the 4-patch?
Yeah, sorry.
That's
I was
all right.
thinking 4 pieces of this fabric.
Yeah.
It's 9 altogether. Now, not say traditionally, but typically, these are made in strips, which you sew together, then you cut up again.
Yeah.
But the easiest way of doing it is like this, with just squares. So just sewing squares together. So you
And this
get
is
a
how the
9-patch.
instructions tell you to do it, isn't it?
Yes,
Like
with
this,
these
yeah.
particular colours. The only thing you want to be careful with is obviously your grey fabric has a direction.
Right.
So just be careful that they're going the same way. If that bothers
And they
you.
what? Go in.
Go in.
Go in. Does it matter if they're not?
It doesn't matter. No, it just, if some people get really upset about that.
Yes, yes,
some
yes,
people
yes,
don't
yes,
care.
yes, yeah.
So if you're the sort of person it will annoy you if they don't all go the same way,
Yeah,
then
just
just
be
be
careful of it,
careful.
yeah, yeah.
But
Also, I suppose they're big enough. A lot of the time you do the strips because the squares are going to be too small to hold, aren't they? Whereas
Yes.
those are actually a decent size to hold. Under
Yeah,
the
that is
machine,
true.
aren't they? Yeah.
so I'm separating it out because what I'm going to want to do is 3 strips just
Yep.
like that of those.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to sew my first set together, and I'm just going to chain stitch all these together
Okay.
so it goes quicker. So I'm laying. This is my technique for making sure that I orientate everything correctly.
Yes.
So I lay everything out first, then I'm folding the fabric over,
Mm-hmm.
and then I know that that right hand of those blocks that I've put together is my seam line. Don't have to do it that way, but that's the way that my brain works, and I know.
Oh, no,
When I
no, no,
pick it
no.
up-
It's a good way to do it. The multi-mat pad has gone in houses. Just a couple of the blue spot ones left.
Yeah, and chain stitch, I'm literally just going one after the other,
Going.
going on one right after the other. A little bit of a gap in between, but that will naturally happen.
Have you got a 1/4 inch foot on, or you just?
I do have a 1/4 of an
Okay.
inch foot on.
Yeah.
Scissors.
Oh, there's a whole.
Oh, they've
Look
moved.
behind there.
Ooh, posh ones.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
Yeah, we let you have the posh ones. Actually, I think I've got those here. Have you got the rose gold ones there?
Yeah.
I've
these
got
are
the rose
nice.
gold. Hang on, let me just take the.
You got a nice weight.
Yes, I'm just taking the panel off so you can just, there you go, so you can see what's inside the box. So you get your big scissors, your little scissors. These are not stalk, these are sort of Victoriana. You get thimbles and you get little pins there. £19.99. They're a lovely little gift set. Please go elsewhere and see how much you can spend on a gift set like that. Right.
Now when I'm pressing these, I'm going to press the seam allowance to the same colour fabric each time, because there is some nesting that needs to be done.
Okay.
So I've actually pressed mine towards the grey, blue-greeny dot.
Right, okay. So you do that on always press towards that one? Yeah?
Yes, to that same one.
Yeah.
And then they will naturally nest the
Oh,
way
okay,
they should.
perfect.
These are pretty similar values in colour, so there isn't really a dark side to either one of these.
Suzanne says she's going to sit on her hands all day today. She doesn't get paid till next week. It's funny, they've already been talking about that in the gallery because the staff here get paid today. So.
That's my 3 strips done.
It seems that each strip across the, not on this block, on the main quilt, you've got 2 of each pattern, haven't you? You've got 2 of the first one that you did, 2 of the 9 patch, and then 2 of the one that you'll be doing next. Oh, now, good question. Hannah says, if you were making this at home,
Yes.
would you make all the same squares up first? So you do all the ones with the border on first, then all the 9 patches, or would you work by the row?
I would do the same block over and over.
Yeah, so you know that you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you've got 14 of each block to do. So you do 14 with the square round, 14 of the 9 patch, then 14 of the on point.
Yeah, but that's just me because I like to everything sort of orderly.
No, I agree. I think I would as well.
But sometimes that gets a little bit monotonous as well, and so to enjoy the process, it's always nice to like switch between different ones.
Of course, yeah.
So if I was doing it sort of a little bit every day, I think I might at least change the fabric. So I'd do some of these, and then maybe the next day I'd do the same block but in the different colourway.
Colours, yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, you have about 20 projects on the go.
Yeah.
So if you get bored of one, you just put it down and start the next one,
Yeah,
don't you?
yeah.
Or not start, carry on with it.
Carry on with the yeah. No, I definitely. I'm not somebody who can finish one quilt before they start the next.
No.
No.
Well, no, because you're going to have to look around your workroom, and under there's some, and on top of the wardrobe there's some, and on top of the desk there's some. And
Yeah.
yeah, Emma does Facebook Lives on a Friday night, you do. Oh,
Yes,
tonight?
it will be. Well, hopefully. So right after this, I'm actually going down to Dartford to go pick up Kaylee and Hebu.
Ah,
'Cause
hey, boo.
Well, my granddaughter.
Oh, I didn't know that was the name.
Nickname, yeah.
Oh, I was going to say.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Oh, fantastic. And they're coming up.
Yes, just for the weekend. I haven't seen him since November.
Oh.
It was Kaylee's birthday last weekend.
She's grandma. I can't believe you're a grandma.
I know. My baby's 27.
Oh.
I know.
Hey. Mind you, I can't believe that Vix was 30 this week.
Oh, wow.
Vix. Because I've known her since she was like 16.
Yeah.
I was thinking it
Oh.
was Vix,
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Oh, that would be nice. So where are they? Dartmouth. Oh, crikey. So you've got to go do. So you've had to get up
Dartford.
have you come here this morning?
Yeah.
So you've set off early this morning to come here, which isn't, and it must be a couple of hours, is
It's
it?
about an hour and a half.
Oh, an hour and a
Yeah,
half.
yeah.
Doing the 2 shows.
Yeah.
Then driving off, and how long is it going to take you to get to?
I don't know. It maybe is it like 2 hours, 2.5 hours?
Okay. And then turn round and go home.
Go home. Yeah. It's a 2 hour, definitely 2
And
hours.
then do a
home.
Facebook Live tonight.
Yes. So hopefully, me and Kaylee will be doing it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
It will be more of a sit and chat than a project.
Oh.
So yeah. Yeah, she's already sent up her wish list of foods that she wants made this weekend.
Oh,
you know,
excuse me.
her favourites.
Oh. If you haven't seen each other for so long, that's
Yeah.
nice, though, isn't it? And how old's the grandchild?
5. I know. I know. know, she's getting big. She started school this year.
Oh,
She will
my
in
word.
September. I know, that went really quick.
Yeah.
So that's your 9 patch.
Yep.
Now, for the next one,
Yeah.
it doesn't actually say in the instructions, at least I didn't read it. It may do. So,
What, how to do it?
how to cut it out.
Right.
So, I went ahead and cut everything out because it says 3.5
Oh,
inch,
no,
6
it tells
inch.
you how to cut it out, but misses out one instruction.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it should be cut out so that it's on the bias rather than straight across, because I'll tell you for why. This is my fox. These are my squares that I cut out, so these
Right.
would be my
Oh, hang on,
centres.
we're just coming to that
Oh.
now.
These would
there
be
you go.
my centres
Right.
to go with those. And then these were my big squares, except they go like this actually in the quilt.
Oh, yes.
So all my foxes would be sideways, which isn't a huge problem because you can
Well,
always
no, but you
alternate.
spent all that time making sure that your grey blobs were going in the right direction. Now you've
Yes.
got your foxes going in.
Yes. So if that bothers you, you do need to make sure that you cut your 6.5 inch squares on the bias.
Right. And how do you do that then?
What I would do is cut strips on the bias. We're using my ruler,
Yeah. And your 45-degree angle.
45-degree angle.
Gerardine, no, the pattern's not available on its own, I'm afraid.
There we go.
Not today. Oh, not today. Not today, says Hannah. Yeah.
There we go. And actually, this ruler, I'm going to move that because
Yeah.
I have to. This ruler is perfect for this, actually, the Creative Grid, 6.5 inches.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
how
yeah.
big you need them.
Yeah. We're waiting for that ruler to come back in.
Okay. 'Cause you
Crazy
just-
Lorraine says, hi, Emma. Great to see you back
Oh,
on Sewing Street.
Hi, Lorraine. There we go.
Oh, okay. Kaz is looking for the Jane Greenoff fabric pack. I've searched the site. Right, okay. You don't need to search the site. You need to go click on Watch the Show Live. Sorry, Emma, I'm just going to
Oh, no,
disturb
no,
you a
no,
second.
that's fine.
Right, go to the website, click on Watch the Show Live. Okay, right, well, let's have a look. So then you go to pre-order. You have to click on pre-order. Then we scroll down. It's in the is it in Jane's second hour? Right, keep going down, keep going down. We might get to sold out. We might find, where is it? There's the even weave, there's the linen. You click on there and put it in your basket. Where's the other one? Hang on. There's the Ada. Right. So it's there. That's where you need to find it. Don't go and search on the shop in the shop. You just need to go underneath the show and pre-order. So I hope you find it. Kaz. Lo Reed says hello, Emma.
Oh, hello. Oh, wearing her necklace.
Oh, fantastic.
Thank you.
And Sue says, I never start a new project if I've not. I never start a new project if I've not finished one either. That would drive me mad. Oh,
Yeah,
very
it's
organised.
yeah.
And
it
Lady
is.
K says, good morning.
Oh, hi.
Right, so you cut that out on the bias.
Yes. So now my foxes are upright,
Yeah.
basically, the correct way. So these are my squares.
Would you best press because all of your
You
straight
can
lines
do.
on the bias?
Yeah, because they're all going to be. Although it's not going to be too bad, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So what you need to do. This is where the mat comes in as well.
Right.
So you've got your squares that you need to sew onto that.
We've only got the spot mat now. This one's sold out. Oh. Got a secret code in there.
I don't know.
Oh, it might be just it's the code.
It's the code.
Yeah.
So I'm using this is what I love, this, it's nice, it's never been used, it's nice virgin sandpaper. I really like sandpaper for drawing lines across or
Why
anything.
is that? Why is it good?
It's good twofold because one, it grips the fabric. So if I were to do this on the table, if the pressure of using your pen or your pencil on it, it just distorts it a little bit, especially if you're going across the bias like I am now.
Yeah.
And it just grips it nicely. So the pressure of the ruler, in addition to the sandpaper, it just adds extra grip.
Perfect.
And also, if you're using a pencil for it, the roughness of the sandpaper helps to get the lead off, so you don't have to press as hard.
Yeah, perfect. Graham wants to know, how does he find your Facebook Lives? What's the name of your group?
It's on the Swift Quilting Facebook.
Swift Quilting.
Swift Quilting, yeah, Swift Quilting Company Facebook page.
And is that a swift or a swallow on your neck?
It's a Swift.
There you go.
Lo made it.
They're very close. Aren't swifts and swallows are very similar, don't they?
They do. I think Swifts are a little bit bigger.
Yeah. Because my house is called the Swallows because in the olden days,
Oh,
where
yes.
the house, not the house I live in, but the house that was there, it's where the swallows all came to.
It's lovely, isn't it?
Because they always come back to the same place.
They do. My neighbour used to work for Natural England. He's retired now, but he has Swift boxes all over his house, and then he's added them to our house as well. And we have Swifts every summer.
Oh,
it's nice.
Don't you find that because those swallows were all on my fascias and everything, and on the pavement, it was a bit.
Yeah, a bit messy. It hasn't been too bad actually.
Oh, okay.
Because we had last year was the first time that they actually nested in the box on our house.
Yeah.
In the back, and I didn't notice any
Oh,
particular
okay.
mess.
Yeah.
So no, they're not so bad, but they're fun. They
Yeah,
dive
no,
bomb
I
and
love the way they
swoop
swoop and everything.
and
yeah.
the sound of them is amazing.
Yeah.
It's always quiet when you know it's like, and then when they go back, they go back.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, it's like they're gone.
They've gone. They've gone. So you just drew a diagonal line on all of those squares.
Yep. So you're just going to add them to each corner.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, actually.
Oh.
Have I done that? Now that I've talked myself into it.
Done it wrong.
Yes, it was right the first time around. See, I talked myself out.
Oh no! So
okay,
ignore. Do not cut on the bias. Do not cut on the bias.
This is much easier, actually.
Yeah.
Much easier. So just cut them as normal. Okay. Because then it ends up being, because you make the corners that way, then it makes a diamond on your big square.
It's very early when we get here, and we do ask a lot of our guests. And I don't make excuses, I'm backpedaling for you. But that's why it doesn't say in the pattern to cut them on the bias.
Yes, okay. So this is much easier, actually.
Yeah.
So good. So just cut them as is.
Yes.
Which I had done. Like, oh, good. So then you go each one in the corner, and then it makes your diamond. So
right.
I'm lining up my corners, and I'm just going to draw sew straight across. So the line that you mark is actually your sew line.
Right.
It wouldn't be right if I didn't come on and I didn't mess up something.
No, exactly. Oh, look, Anne says, what a fabulous tip, Em. I hadn't thought of using sandpaper for drawing the lines. Genius.
Oh,
That's before she saw you make your mistake.
Oh.
Because you noticed that on Facebook Live is, well, no, you won't on yours because it'd be live on yours, but the delay between the telly and the Facebook Live. So, like, they might be watching on the telly and then send us a message on here. It's much later than when we've actually said it. What are you saying, Hannah? Oh, Hannah has to. Now, hang on. You haven't got a telly, so how do you have a delay from the telly upstairs? Oh, at her parents' house, the telly upstairs is a delay from the telly downstairs.
Gotcha. Okay, now this part is important, and this is the correct way of doing it.
Yeah.
I promise. So I have sewn on 2 squares, but opposite from each other.
Yeah.
Before I go to the next 2 squares, I have to trim them and press them out.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just trimming to 1/4 inch seam allowance.
Mm-hmm. Did you change your foot, Graham said then?
I did. Well caught. So I changed it from 1/4 inch to, what's the proper
The regular one.
The regular one. Yeah, I always call it the flat foot. I never know.
They call it. I think they call it the zigzag foot on that one.
Oh, okay.
But anyways,
yeah, because it's got
we
a
went
hole,
from the
big hole.
1/4 inch foot to the regular foot,
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can do it with a 1/4 inch foot, but I find it's easier to see the line with the regular foot.
I've just bought the kit, but missed the cutting on the bias, so someone was querying where to find something. Can you show it again? Oh, Jackie, do not cut on the bias. Do not cut on the bias. You just cut it as a normal square,
Yes,
don't you?
abort mission.
Yes.
I was wrong about that. You just cut them as normal.
And then the way you make it to look like it's on the bias is now
like
the
this.
corners going on now.
Yeah, and then your foxes will actually be going the correct way.
Oh no, Georgina says, I love it when the expert gets it wrong because I don't feel so silly when I do. Oh, well, no, but we're all human, aren't we?
Yeah, well, actually, you'll see it in the mini. There is a deliberate mistake.
Oh, is that? Oh, then in your next hour?
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. It's traditional.
Yeah, of course it is. And it's not a mistake, it's a design feature.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you like Damien on Great British Sewing Bee, people who don't read the instructions, just jump ahead and do it, don't they? Don't know where that was going to.
Well, I did read the instructions. I just second-guessed myself.
Yeah. Well, yes, but it means you'll all remember that bit now.
Yeah.
Out of all of it, that's the bit you'll remember.
Yeah.
While you're stitching those two, can I just quickly do a recap on the bundle because we're running out of time? What do you want to do, Hannah? The whole bundle? Right. So this is the bundle here. You get the instructions. The only way to get the fabrics is this way, and the pattern as well. £84.99. So you get half a metre of rabbits, you get half a metre of foxes, half a metre of trees, 1 metre of stripe, half a metre of blue foxes, 2 metres of white, and then 2 metres of this gorgeous stripe fabric. Beautiful, isn't it? Okay. Fewer than 20 once you've all checked out, so please be careful. And the people upstairs are just moving in. Right.
Okay, so I've just trimmed it exactly the same way.
Uh-huh.
And pressing it out.
How many minutes have we got, please, Emma? 6 minutes on demo, I'm afraid.
Oh, okay. No, I'll be quick because the last bit I want to show is the pieced border.
Right.
So the
so just talk me through. So you've made all those squares, you sew them in rows, and that creates that centre bit.
Yep.
Then you'll just do a border of the striped fabric.
Yep.
Then you do a border of the blue
Navy
fabric.
blue.
Then we're going to do this next
pieced.
bit here. Now
Yep.
yours at home won't have those black lines on it. Those black lines that you can see on Emma's are where the designer... you can't see them on this one, so show that one. That's what yours will look like.
More like that.
Right.
So you've got a series, you've got triangles, rectangles, and more triangles from all your shapes.
Right.
And the way it goes together is you're going to sew one rectangle to one triangle. Now you're going to have to be careful where you line it up because you can see this triangle is a little bit longer than this rectangle.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure you line it up, the corners together.
On the straight.
Yeah.
Right.
The reason it's jutting out is because that's part of your seam allowance when you fold it over.
Okay. Oh, this doesn't go together the way I thought it was going to go together.
So it just goes like that, basically.
Oh.
And then you have...
I know you can't hear that noise at home.
that way. So that will go on that way. So
that's your corner, where you're then going to put a cornerstone on, aren't you?
yes. And then you have one to go on the opposite as well.
So do you have you got any funny Y seams or anything to cope
No.
with? Oh, okay.
No. There we go. Actually, this one at the end goes like that. So you have one that looks like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. So you end up making oh no, because it's still got a zigzag edge on that side.
No. So I'll show you.
Yeah,
if I sew this
please.
together, and it's just like this is just a very shortened version of the border. So I get it all together. So if I sew this together. Oh, change my foot. Put that up. Going back to the 1/4 inch.
Maybe it's a thunderstorm. Oh, that doesn't sound right.
Doesn't. It's misbehaving.
Is your bobbin all right?
I think it is. I think it's because I didn't hold it. I'm hoping it's because I didn't hold it. Let's try that again. There we go.
There we go.
Woohoo!
User error. Sounds like the underground trains rumbling past, doesn't it, Carol? But apparently we're told you can't hear those. Graham says we can hear it. Maybe John needs a snack. Why would I need a snack, Graham?
Because your tummy's grumbling.
Emma, is that a strange way to do the border? It is unusual, isn't it?
It is unusual, but it will be easier because they're basically making it so you don't have to do any bias,
Yeah.
too many bias edges. So just
That's what Graham means. Maybe I need a snack because my tummy rumbling. No, that's definitely. I've had my porridge, I've had my blueberries, I've had my raspberries, I've had my gluten-free rich teas already this morning.
Come on. There we go. Okay, if I recreate that again, we'll show you. Move these out of the way. I'm pressing all my seam allowances towards my colours.
Righty-ho.
So it doesn't show through the white.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so you'll have... And this may not be the correct order for the colours.
No, but we're just it's for the technique, isn't it?
Sure. And then that will go like that. So then you sew this triangle onto here.
Right.
And the extra of the rectangles would actually just be cut off.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
what happens to this bit up this end? So you
Yeah.
then, once you've sewn them all together and I put the two ends on, you then measure it and it's like
You trim
however
it.
many inches wide, you trim the other side.
Yep.
Got it. Yeah, because yours won't have lines on it. Our sample on the wall has, but actually it makes it a bit easier for you to see, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. What are they doing?
I don't know. I do apologise.
There we go.
Now, when you're putting that one on,
Mm-hmm.
do you have to have a little bit of the point below,
Yes.
again, like 1/4 inch below that one again?
Yeah.
Because there's no other corners to match up, are there, on that?
There
one?
aren't. So you just want to hang it over the edge, over the seam, back 1/4 inch.
Okay. Lots of people got this in baskets. Please, if you want it, do check out your basket. Please check it. I know you must be waiting for the demo to finish, but I don't want any of you to be disappointed. Oh, there's only 12 left. There's only 12 left.
Like I said, it is a very useful one to have in your stash for any babies that come along, because it will go for any.
Yeah.
Or child. Doesn't have to be babies. Or adult,
Don't
actually.
want that, I'm going to say, because
I
Emma
like it.
wants one.
Yeah,
Emma
I
director
quite like
wants
it.
one.
There we go.
I don't want to say
And
it,
then
but something just fell off the roof, off the ceiling.
There we go. And then what you'll do is, once everything's sewn together,
Yeah.
it's just a case of measuring it and
So
smoothing it
you
out.
put those big white triangles in your stash then?
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
not used anywhere else in the quilt, are they? So
No,
you use them
no,
in-
and there's plenty of usable
Yeah,
fabric
exactly.
there. The only thing to be careful of when you are attaching this border is this is all bias.
Right.
So that's going to be very, very stretchy. So definitely make sure that you, when you're sewing it through your machine, that the border is on top of your quilt edge.
Right.
And pin, pin, pin. I would actually pin this a lot more
Yes.
than normal, just to make sure that that bias edge doesn't get stretched out.
Because all you have to, you can see just by you pulling it there,
Yeah.
it's gone a little bit kind of wobbly, isn't
Wobbly,
it?
yeah. And then you'll have cornerstones as well.
Yeah.
So you definitely want to make sure that you match your pieced bit, and this is, I would say, is the trickiest part of the quilt.
Okay, so it's not difficult, but now is there then another border around the edge? Is that another? That printed one's got the very fine. Oh, that's the binding.
The binding. Yeah.
Binding in the stripes.
Yeah.
Perfect. You get enough.
Yeah.
You get enough in your bundle to make all the front
Oh
and the
yes,
binding.
and you get.
And
Let me see. What I've got left over.
oh.
So this was what I had left over from the blue. So it's about 1/4 metre there.
Yeah.
That was from the trees. You don't get much left over from your colours. That was all I had.
Oh,
left
that's
over
from
the
that's.
yellow.
I was going to say I haven't got that fabric, but that's on the
Yeah.
lollipop fabric, isn't it? Yeah.
And same with those. Haven't cut any of that one out yet.
Yeah.
But you get plenty. Yeah, you can see how much I've got
Oh
left
yeah,
of that
nice.
still.
Yeah,
So
the stripe. You'll use onto the stripe because you've got a border and
Yeah.
you've got binding in the stripe. haven't
And
you?
much of
So-
the grey. So
Brilliant.
you've got plenty
so you've got enough to
left
make
over.
accessories if
Yeah,
you're making
yeah,
it for a
definitely.
child or something like that.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Now you're back in an hour, aren't you?
Yes.
Doing the smallest quilt I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's tiny. It's a miniature quilt, and it's
Yeah.
all pieced. It's not like
Yeah.
drawn on. There it is. Look at the size of the friction pen, and look at the size of the finished quilt. I've got a new book to us here at Sewing Street. That's all in an hour's time. Right, I just need to say, please, please, please check out your baskets now if you definitely want it. The finished size is 60 inches square. Okay, right, so what you get in the bundle is you get 1/2 metre of the grey rabbit fabric. You get 1/2 metre of the cheeky foxes. This is all lovely cotton, by the way, really beautiful cotton. 1/2 metre of your trees. 1 metre of your stripe, because you need that for your border and your binding. You get 1/2 metre of your trees, foxes and rabbits on blue. You get 2 metres of white, and then you get 2 metres of this, right? This is what we call it lollipop. They've called it panelled stripe. You get 2 metres of that. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of your other fabrics all on that. And you get 2 metres of that. And you get the instructions too. I think somebody should have a word with them. All of that, but please, please, please check out if you, and you get the instructions obviously, and you can obviously watch Emma's demonstration on YouTube. It'll be there. Okay, do not go anywhere. We've got Jane Greenoff coming up next. Oh, it's gone down to single figures already. Gone down to single figures to carry on checking out because some people could miss out at this rate. Right, Jane Greenoff with brand new projects is up straight after this break.
Keep up to date with what's on Sewing Street and Yarn Lane, as well as all the latest news and special offers by signing up to our email newsletters. For Sewing Street, head on over to www.sewingstreet.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the homepage, type in your email address, click the envelope, and you're done. It's exactly the same for Yarn Lane. Head on over to www.yarnlane.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the homepage, type in your email address, click the envelope, and that's it. You are now subscribed to both Sewing Street's and Yarn Lane's email newsletters, so you'll never miss out on the latest news and special offers ever again.
Follow Sewing Street and Yarn Lane on Facebook and Instagram to keep up to date with what's coming up on the show, as well as being the first to know about our amazing offers. Get involved with our competitions that are exclusive to social media. And pick up some top tips from us too.
Hello everyone, I'm Delphine Brooks. It's so great to be here and part of the Sewing Street family. I'm local, I'm only down the road in Warwickshire, I started sewing many years ago when I was very young, doing lots of art and painting, and eventually I went into textiles, and I really enjoyed doing the two together. I then had a bit of a break. Something you don't know about me maybe is that I spent many years in the Royal Air Force and eventually in the police as well. And then I went full circle and I've come back to my happy place of sewing, and which I really enjoy. My best sewing tip is measure twice and cut once. I have chipped up a couple of times by not measuring properly, and I do always regret it. So now I always measure twice, cut once. Anyway, I really hope to be with you again soon, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you.
Stuck for ideas for the perfect gift? Why not get them a gift card? You can buy Sewing Street and Yarn Lane gift cards loaded up with anything from £10 to £500. Shop our gift cards online at www.sewingstreet.com or www.yarnlane.com, or purchase them via our UK call centre on 0800 001 44 33.
We know that shopping online can be a confusing and sometimes daunting task, and sometimes all you want to do is talk to a human being. Well, our family-run customer service team are on call 24/7. They're full of friendly, warm-hearted individuals, all trained to make your shopping experience as easy and as enjoyable as possible. And not only will they take your order, they will also help and guide you on your shopping journey, so you never miss out.
Missed the live show? Don't worry, we recorded it for you. Never miss out on your favourite presenters, guests and makes ever again. Head on over to our YouTube pages to watch back the day's live show and enjoy your favourite demos over and over again. We also have lots of great content exclusive to our YouTube pages, such as product demonstrations, troubleshooting videos, and so much more. Subscribe and turn on the bell notification so you never miss a show or video ever again.
Jane Greenoff is back in the building. Whee! She's done her hair up. She's got a glass on. She's got a lovely blue polka dot top on. Don't look at her yet. She's just... Oh, there she is, sitting down. I was going to know because she was getting herself settled on the stool. That was all. Morning. Do you need a cushion? Morning.
No, thank you.
Are you
I'm
sure
fine.
you're all right? You look very I was telling her how glamorous she looked. She went, oh, you old smoothie. I'm just saying what I see, that's all. You look lovely.
Thank you, sweetie.
And welcome back.
Well, it's nice to be here.
And, what I hate about now is like two of my favourite guests can't hug. Still can't hug after a year, can we?
Isn't it beastly?
I know. And it's just such a... It'll be really weird when they do say on the news, oh, you can hug people now. It's going to be really... It's going to be kind of...
Yes.
And then you have to remember, who was it I used to hug and who didn't hug? Anyway, we've got some gorgeous new things today, haven't we? Really, really beautiful new things. So what we'll do is if you've got any questions, then please send them in and Jane will answer them. And we're going to answer your question about working on linen today as well. But let me just show you the first two projects that we've got available here. This is just beautiful, right? It's called A Gathering of Samplers, and we've got them in Ada and in linen. So this is the Ada one here. Now, Jane's got the actual thing, which... Oh, no, I've got a picture of it here, look. I'll get Jane to talk about it in a second, but it looks a bit different, doesn't it, to usual? And I didn't realise what it was until Jane pointed out. All the motifs are solid block colours, look. And it makes... There's something really, really rather special about it, isn't there? Anyway, so it comes on the Ada, $29.99. In the pack, you get all your sorted threads. You get your Ada. You get your chart. You get your instructions. Black and white charts, coloured charts, pre-sorted threads, wrap needle, instructions, and your choice of fabric. And this fabric is the Ada fabric. Oh, can I just say very quickly, in the next hour, in pre-order, in Jane's next hour, we have these two packs. They're called fabric packs. One is Ada and one is linen, where you get Ada, threads, a chart and a needle in one. And then the other, it's very good for card makers and things like that. Very good if you're starting off and you don't want to do a full-on project. But I do need to warn you, last time Jane brought them on, they completely sold out before she got on air. And it's the same thing's happening today. So if you are interested, it was what Kaz was asking for earlier. If you are interested, they're in pre-order. So go and get them now if you want to. Right, yes. Oh, and if you're looking for the linen, that's called even weave. That's called even weave. It doesn't say linen on it, just says even weave on it. Right, okay, so this is this kit in Ada. And then this is the kit in the linen. Now, the finished item will be exactly the same size. It will look identical. It's just the background fabric. And I'll get Jane to explain what the difference is between working on linen and working on Ada is. But they're both $29.99. Your finished project is exactly the same size. It looks identical. It's just the backing fabric that looks different. You do not get the frame with it, obviously. £29.99. There it is again. Beautiful. So should we talk? Let's talk about this one for a little while before I go on to my next project.
Okay.
Because you've actually got it, the actual thing there.
I'm going to grab it now and hold it up for you.
Right.
So this is...
oh, actually, if you put it flat on the table facing you, then Emma can bring the upstairs. That's perfect.
How about that?
There you go. Perfect.
Something like that. Look.
Yeah.
That way a bit.
Yeah.
There, perfect. Right. So let me tell you about this. These patterns come from a Quaker school called Aqua School, based up near Pontefract, which is still now, it's a day and boarding school for little ones right through to sixth form. Mm-hmm. And the children in the past worked these samplers, and they were sort of discovered in a way in that the samplers done by scholars in 1794 and 1836 or whatever, were hanging around the school, you know, in the corridors, in the staff canteen, la la la. And then someone pointed out there were thousands, because these are very unusual and in very good condition and so on. So they were quickly sorted and put into proper display cases. And they are unusual because of these medallions. Now you've got half medallions around the edge of this sampler. Right. Can you see that?
Yeah, perfect.
You see these halves?
Why are they called medallions?
Well, because actually, when you see them in a complete situation, they're always sort of round shaped.
Oh, okay.
Now I've got here, I'm going to plonk it in the middle. This is a Quaker pinball done by a child in 1800. You see? That is knitted on sewing needles in silk thread. Okay,
so hang on. So they've done knitting, but used sewing needles in a fine silk thread.
And this is one of these medallions with a swan.
Coming right in close to it now, Joe. There you go.
I'll turn the swan round for you so you can see it perfectly. Can you see how perfect that is? I was incredibly lucky to find that. You occasionally see them for sale in antiques where they're specialising in needlework materials and antique tools and things, but I've never seen one in such good condition as this, ever. And if I turn it over, so this was a pinball that a child will have knitted for a friend as a gift.
Oh my word.
And this is another Ackworth medallion. Can you see that it's got the shape?
Yes.
So, so the Cross-Stitch Guild have access to the library of these old samplers, some of which, as I said, were done in 1700 and something. And last year we did an anniversary design for them because it was 400 years since the school came into being. And this is it's one of these things, you know, sometimes when I'm designing something, it's a bit like pulling teeth. You know you're going to have to go make another coffee because it's just not working particularly well. This one was a dream. Right. I have got all the medallion patterns historically. The school have given me those to have on my machine so I can cut and chop and play and fiddle about. This is more colourful in some ways than the historic ones, not all, but some. Some are almost done in one colour. I'm particularly fond of this. I mean, it just worked perfectly, and I know that there's lots of people out there who love to work a set of one colour at a time. So each of the little medallions is in one shade. And the nice thing about this is, and I didn't think of it at the time really, that it's a friendship thing, it's a new baby thing, it's an either sex baby thing, it's a new home, it's a gift for a special friend. You know, it's there.
It's a token of love.
It's a token of love.
Yeah.
And so it's the perfect thing to stitch. Now, this version that I'm looking at here is worked on linen.
Right.
That's linen even weave. Now, when I talk about even weave, that doesn't mean it doesn't have bumps in it, because linen does have bumps in it.
Right.
And it'll have a thin thread and a thick thread next to each other. What it means is, if I put a ruler that way or that way, the same number of threads to the inch.
Right.
So when the children work these, the scholars is how they're referred to. When the scholars worked these, they worked on linen they had, and it wouldn't necessarily have been an even weave. It could have, if you can imagine, Mona Blackburn is a very famous cross-stitch designer, says you can make your hare into a rabbit or your rabbit into a hare.
Right.
Because when you work on non-even weave fabric, it can stretch things out.
Oh, of course.
Does that make sense?
Because it's not going to be even. Yeah, exactly.
The crosses aren't going to be square.
No.
So when you work on the Ada fabric, the crosses are actually square. When they're done on the even weave, you work over 2 fabric threads. Now, we've had a request for me to show you how to do that, which I will do. I'm going to do that in the second hour, if that's all right.
Okay, that's fine. That's
specifically
Anne.
organised.
That was Anne who asked that.
Right, and so we'll show you working on linen.
Okay. Before we go any further, I've got a picture of Christine who's actually working on this project.
Oh, I bet
Work in progress from Christine.
I bet I know which Christine that is. Hello, Christine. Lovely to see you again. And she works samplers in her sleep. I'm quite certain that she does.
Oh.
Now, she'll be working that on Ada fabric.
Right.
And I do want to make you understand that there's nothing wrong with the Ada material. You know, there is that tendency to think it's babyish or for a novice.
Yeah.
It's not. It's for when you want to be really quick, you've got a deadline to meet. It's when you are doing something where you want very square stitches. So if you're working, I don't know, gingham, dogtooth check, tartan, Ada would be perfect.
Okay.
For something old like this, I wanted to use a linen or a nice soft beige Ada, which we have got.
We have got. Now we're given a thing for the management this week about how many new viewers we have all the week. So there'll be some people watching now, fascinated, but going, linen, Ada. What's the difference? I don't understand what the difference is.
It would be brilliant if you could open those packets.
Of course. Oh, now you've
Here
given me ones with elephant spit on them, haven't you?
I know. I'm just
it's not real. If you're new, it's not real elephant spit.
It's not elephant spit, really. We haven't chopped up any elephants. I can hand you a pair of scissors if that would be helpful.
No, I'll use my own over here.
Oh, well done.
Yeah. Right. You chat amongst yourselves. Oh, no, hang on. Chat amongst yourselves.
This business of not being able to touch things,
yeah,
and we get in a terrible muddle.
I've only got pinky shoes.
He's over there.
This will be fun.
Yeah, right. Yes, so if we could, I'd like you to tip it out so I can handle the fabric.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
In both cases.
Yeah, okay.
Right, I'm going to just slide across towards him.
Well, yes, let me tip it out like this. There
Yeah,
we go.
marvellous.
This is how difficult it is to get into your packet. Right, so you want everything that's in there.
That's what I want, like that. And I want you to do it again with the other one.
I'll do that now while you talk about that one.
Okay. So what I've got here...
You've got, Jane's got the Ada.
There you are. This is Ada fabric. Now, if we can get in closer in a minute. Thank you, sir.
Half the stock of the Ada's gone, just to warn you.
It's this is just lovely. I mean, I'm coming out in goosebumps, and I've, you know, silly really. Note that you get a gold-plated needle.
Right.
This is a special treat. They're not in every kit. So this is the Ada, and we're going to get in really close. This is 16 little squares to the inch.
Right.
And you can quite clearly see the holes, can't you?
Yeah.
You can see, right? So that's that. Now I'm going to put the linen on top now and shunt it down there. That's perfect. So this linen is 32 threads to the inch.
Right.
So what you're actually going to do on the linen is you're going to count over 2 fabric threads.
Right.
Which makes your stitches the same size as on the Ada.
So the finished thing will be identical.
Exactly. You're not making a big clumpy thing because you're a novice.
Yes.
Because that's wrong. That's not what this is about. This is a washed unbleached linen. Now, if I sniff it, I have a bit of I do have a kink.
No, you like me with calico. I do that with calico.
Actually, it's not quite as strong. When you get raw linen, it really does smell of the ground. I love it. I love it. Anyway, as I said, you're going to get a gold-plated needle to work with, which is a real treat.
So why, if we're new, why do we need a gold-plated needle?
Well, there is actually no reason on this project that it's particularly useful, in that it's a pure cross-stitch. There are no other stitches on it. It's cross-stitch. That's it. There's no back stitch. There's no French knots. There's no nothing.
Right.
But the coefficient of friction...
The what?
I'm not going to be able to say that twice. Coefficient... Hang on a minute. Coefficient of friction.
Oh, let's just have a cocktail. Slurp of the cocktail.
My gin. Is much less with gold. So the needles slide through the fabric beautifully.
Right.
They don't mark your fabric. Now, if I was stitching this sampler, I might work, say, for instance, I might work part of this alphabet in the green, and I might park my needle and count up to this one and work that little bit.
Right.
I generally say to people when you're working counted projects, the mistakes get made counting empty material, not stitches. Now that's obviously a generalisation, but if I'm counting across here on my material, 10, 11, 12, 13, and then I'm counting on linen, it's much easier to miscount. Whereas if I count over there, it's 4 threads between the top of the F and the next one.
Right.
So in other words, I work from the centre out.
Oh, I see.
It means you get the design in the centre of the fabric. So you can see here, look, isn't it ridiculous?
It's getting all emotional.
I'm getting emotional. There's the coloured chart, look. I mean, I just want to cut that out and play with it. I think it's lovely.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's beautiful.
I know, I'm sad.
No, you're not sad in the slightest. I think it's gorgeous that you're so passionate. Because a lot of people who've been, because I mean, you've been doing this for quite a long time now, haven't you? Yeah, I wasn't going to say, but lots of people after that would be like, oh yeah, I do cross stitch, yeah, you know what I mean? But you still are so passionate about it. You know?
No, I still go strange.
Quick question before you go across the bottom of the screen.
Okay.
Says, hope all is well. Can you get Ada with larger holes from Sandy?
Well, yes, you can, but what you must try and avoid doing is counting holes, all right? So from now on, you count the boxes or you count the threads.
Right.
Because if you count holes, you can make mistakes. If I hold up my fingers
Right.
and they're threads, there's 4.
Yeah.
Agreed?
Yep.
How many holes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Right.
Or 1, 2, 3.
I would
or
say
1,
3.
2, 3. And when we come to do hard hanger embroidery, which we will, that would be particularly relevant.
Right.
So you can get Ada with bigger squares, and the holes are therefore slightly larger.
Right.
Now this was done on 32 count linen or the Ada specifically. Now I'm going to have to admit something now.
Oh, what?
I had this frame which I really liked.
Right.
And I knew that it would look lovely.
Right.
And if I did it on 14 count Ada or 28, it wasn't going to fit.
Oh, okay.
So I did it on finer.
Right.
Now, having said that, the scholars at Ackworth worked on tiny fabric. And this would have been a quarter of the size of this.
Well, if they could knit with sewing
exactly.
needles, you know what I mean.
So,
Do you know there was another question, Hannah?
oh, good.
Message. Morning, John and Jane. Just bought Token of Love in Ada as I've
Good
been
girl.
doing cross stitch for 4 years and always used Ada. Bought some of your kits in. Karen, what did you buy them in? Did you buy them in Harrogate or did you buy them in linen or what? Let me know. Let me know what the second half is. And then another message very quickly from Anne says, good morning, John and Jane. I love your cross-stitch shows. Looking forward to attending retreat later in the year. Oh, that's Anne who's asked the question about the linen. So,
Smashing.
Anne, watch the next hour and
I will
Jane's
show
going to
you.
show you how to stitch
I'll show
on
you.
linen.
I'll have a piece of linen handy and we'll have a real good go at it, all right?
Yeah, she told me yesterday that she's booked to go on your...
On one of our events.
in November. Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
Oh no, Hannah's decided she wants to go on one. I do apologise.
Can I stand that? I'll think about it, Hannah. So there's your threads sorted.
Right.
I mean, aren't they lovely?
Beautiful.
I mean, how could you...
Now, why do you sort the threads then?
Well, that's sort of twofold, really. One is, I think it's kind, when you just spent £30 on a needlework kit, to be able to start it that evening without trying to work out which is camel, which is old gold, and which is light. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, in this case, we could have got away with it, I'm quite sure, because the colours are what they are. There's only one yellow. But, so that's one reason.
Yeah.
The other reason is that when we do get a lot of mixed colours and you've sorted them out in electric light, ever so many people get 3 greens in the same hole and ring to say they're short of threads.
Yeah.
This way, and if I just show you, if I go on the back there, I can take one.
Hang on, can you just just getting close into there? There you go.
There we go. Right, I can take one length.
So how doesn't it knot then?
Well,
It doesn't.
it will eventually if you're not careful.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but if you put your thumb over the hole and pull, and it means the cat doesn't disappear with all of them.
Yes.
You know, you've got them handy, and then that is divided. Now, just a tip, when you come to divide your threads, this stuff, which we refer to as embroidery silks, is actually stranded cotton. Stranded because it's 6 in a thing, and it's made of 100% cotton. And the temptation is to take 2 threads, because that's what you're going to work with, and pull, and you'll get a knot about there.
Okay.
So what we do is we get hold of one and pull.
Okay.
Fold that in half. And then you can start stitching with the 2 threads, and you haven't got that awful knotty spaghetti that goes on. There you are.
Okay. So why did you arrive at the set with your glasses on? You've just managed to do all that with a thread that I could hardly see without your glasses.
It's a funny old thing. I couldn't see the bus coming.
Right.
So I've always been able to stitch without my glasses, which I can now.
Right.
But I have learnt wisdom of age or something.
Yeah.
Now, I could stitch on this without my glasses, but I couldn't see you. And I wouldn't be able to read the screen.
You're the opposite.
My accommodation has changed now, you know, and I'm getting cataracts.
The lady messaged in this morning, said she just had her cataracts done, and I look 10 years younger.
Well, that's wonderful, because the fear I have is I'll have my cataracts done and realise what I really look like.
Oh, no.
My mother-in-law, when she had hers done, my daughter said, "What is that noise?" I said, "I don't know, darling." And she went, "Look," and it was her grandma crying, looking in a mirror, having had her cataracts done. So I'm going to get mine done so I can stitch, but I'm not in a rush.
The worst thing will be to see how dusty your house is.
Well,
That's
no,
what
do you
you'll
know,
see.
this is absolutely true. We were at a needlework fair, my husband and I, and there was a lovely shop down in Alresford, and Caroline Perry was the owner, and she came on the stand and she said, "Hello." And we were all going, "You had your hair done? You look like you do." And she said, "No glasses." I said, "Oh my goodness." And she said, "Do you know, I had my cataracts done, and I walked into my shop, burst into tears and locked it so I could clean it."
Oh.
She said, "I couldn't believe that customers were coming buying needlework and it went somewhere so disgusting." That's absolutely true.
Oh, now, before we go on, we've got an issue. The graphics are broken down. So we're going to show you, before we go on to the next item, you can still buy, you can still come in and everything,
heavens,
but
please
we're
do.
going to show you how you can buy things, right? So what you need to do is you need to go to the website, www.sewingstreet.com. You click on Watch the Show Live, which is what's happening now. Then you scroll down the screen. Now, you'll see today's show deals. That's all the things that we've... Oh, look, something's... Oh, that's the fabric from the last hour, sold out, right? That's everything we've shown already. What's to now come up? Until we get them fixed, you need to go to pre-order. Then everything is there. Just scroll down. So that what we're going to do next is I'm going to do strawberry needle safe, right?
Yes,
so what you do is you go to the website there, you look at strawberry, add it to your basket, and that's the way to do it at the moment. I mean, you can ring the call centre as well and ask them to if you get the code, or no, you won't know the code. Just just ask them for the whatever we're on screen at the moment or everything. I'll give them the title. You'll still be able to buy it by the call centre. It's just that our graphics have completely broken in the gallery. So we're going to move on now to the strawberry needle safe, which looks absolutely gorgeous. But now, when we got this out in prep, Hannah said that there it is closed. Have you got it open as well, Emma? There. Oh, you can't really see it on there. There's a really lovely border. And Hannah said, oh, that looks a little bit complicated to do. But Jane said...
It's all on linen band and it's done already. So when you get a chance to get in close to this, you'll see... There we are. Let's see how close
can you move to your right a little bit, Jane, for us?
There, now if you keep going a bit closer, if possible, team. Thank you. Now if you just look now, you'll see at the edge there's a zigzag pattern.
Right, I'm going to tip the bag out again.
Oh, bless you.
For you there. And you can then show.
Now I can show the fabric. Look, it's lovely. It comes from Germany. Ooh.
Ooh. Smell it, smell it.
A bit.
Oh, a bit, okay.
So this is linen band. This is 20.
This only comes on linen, doesn't it?
This only comes on linen and it comes on the band. And the point is that you work on half of it.
Right.
And then this is much faded. They started off very similar.
Yeah.
And they vary anyway.
Yeah.
And then when you come to make it up, all you've got to do is join down the sides with tiny stitching.
So you only stitch through one layer, don't you?
Yes. So you stitch through, you would start, say, there.
And you do all your cross stitching.
And you do your stitching. Now, this is not a first project.
Right.
All right, so this is not one you would do as your very first project. Well, actually, because it's got these extra stitches on here. I think you'll be able to see in just a second. Some of them have even got little beads added.
Right, yeah, I was going to say there's a little bag inside the kit that's got beads and all sorts in it.
Yes, so that's diamond hem stitch there with beads attached. So there's a few extra stitches on this one, and I think to have to pull threads out and play with it, you might get a bit frustrated. But if you've worked on it from a chart before and you've worked on linen, you'll be fine.
Absolutely, and you don't need to worry about the hem because it's already done for you.
All that's done for you.
Can you just show what's in the bag here?
Of course.
Next one along, all the bits you get in there.
Here we go. So there we go. So
and I'll just shout out the code number. It is Y O Y W 54 is the code.
Right, so there's the threads sorted. Now this one here that looks like a random.
Yeah, it's a random one there.
It's absolutely gorgeous. It's Steph Francis 12-ply hand-painted silk.
Oh, so it's like variegated?
Yes, so it's variegated and it's used for little details like here. Sorry, I'm giving them anguish upstairs, no doubt. Anyway, so you've got this thread, they're pre-sorted, ready to go. And then in here, we've got the strawberry charm, buttons, beading needles, and tiny little beads.
Perfect.
And there's the linen band. You see, this. So if you can imagine on the looms when you go to Valpole and Highland Back, that is a piece of fabric, but they'll have 12 of them being made on the loom. I mean, this is beautiful. It's got the eyelet down the middle, and that's what we've used here, look.
Oh,
to make the little tie.
Yeah.
Isn't it pretty?
Very pretty. How much is it, by the way, Hannah? £21.99. £21.99, this one.
So that belongs to that.
You can ring. Oh, no phone. Can we have the phone number? Oh, no, I can't even have the phone number at the moment. Oh, okay, don't wait then. Right, that's the phone number. Ignore the details. Ignore the details because that was for the last project. It's just that they've got stuck. That's the phone number, 0800 001 44 33. There you go. That's that one. Loads of people going to pre-order. I'm so sorry that we're adding this hassle to you. Our graphics are completely broken, that's all.
No, these things happen, don't they?
Every day.
Every day something goes.
And what's that for then?
Well, that's a piece of wooding to go inside when you make it. That's quite a squashy finish.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that'll go in there when you
I see. So when
finish
you
it off.
I see. After you've done your embroidery.
And all the instructions are in the packet.
Perfect.
So you'll be able to do that. Very
Okay,
simply.
it should be working now. Wait a minute.
Any minute now, we're going to have action. Or not.
No, let's not wait. Oh, here you go. Right, so this is for the kit that Jane was just showing. The tensions. There we go.
Well done.
That's the needle save for £21.99. Oh, now you've been coming in. There's less than 20 already. There's fewer than 20 of those already, and that's without having the graphics in and everything. So, so please be careful.
Well done with it. You better keep your best needles and precious bits and pieces in
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Beautiful.
It's really sweet.
That'd be a lovely gift to make for somebody as well.
Would,
wouldn't it?
it absolutely would. Absolutely. Lovely.
Say it again, Hannah. I can ask that. Who manufactures the linen?
The linen band comes from a place in Wuppertal in Germany called Walpole and Heilenbeck, and that's the linen band. Then all our other fabrics are made for us by Zweigart and Zawitsky, who are based near Stuttgart.
There you go. That was just a question somebody asked. So with that, if you ask, we'll tell you. We've got nothing to hide.
Yeah.
Oh, very quickly before we move on. Good morning, John and Jane. Loving the show. I've cross-stitched on linen for years and
Good
still
girl.
love it. I could listen to you, Jane, all day. From Lisa. Do you know what? So many people messaged yesterday when I said you were coming on. They said, don't do cross-stitch, but I could sit and listen and watch Jane for hours.
You
and
heard the
hours.
story, didn't you?
Oh, which one? I've heard lots of stories.
No. If you go on to, please don't do this now, okay?
Right.
If you happen to go onto YouTube, and there's an area where people who can't sleep.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
But Insomniacs Anonymous.
Well, someone has run together all my stitching videos for them, and 329,000 people have used it to go to sleep.
Oh.
All those years practicing to do cross stitch perfectly, and I send people to sleep.
No. Apparently, my voice is very good for calming babies.
Well, there you are.
So
you see,
somebody says.
we should start a business.
We
shouldn't
should. Well, yeah. Right. Shall we move on to the next two kits then?
Oh yes.
Well,
right.
yeah. I was going to show the kits and then do the Hardanger book, if that's all right.
Right. So this is.
Oh. Sorry. My bad.
What's
And I
got
want to do
oh,
the
right,
sampler book first.
Okay.
The cross-stitch antique style sampler book.
Fine.
So what's this then?
Well, this is my anniversary book. It was my anniversary book when I'd been stitching for 30 years.
So it's quite old then, this book now.
Rat bag. There is a section in there talking actually about Ackworth samplers, amongst other things.
Uh-huh.
So what I've done is, there you are, there's an Ackworth sampler, using the medallions again.
Oh, yes.
You can see the theme. So basically what we did was we started off with my antique sampler collection, which is growing
Yes.
exponentially. A nice word for it, isn't it? Anyway, and I did something inspired by my collection.
Right.
So all the charts are in there, all the instructions.
So
the
$14.99, you get a beautiful book with beautiful photographs, but you also
Yes.
get loads of instructions.
Loads of projects, and there's a nice stitch library in the back of the book, and lovely big pictures of my old samplers, and techniques, you know, the things you might need to learn
Yeah.
to complete some of these designs. And it was beautifully produced, this book. Obviously, I deliver a manuscript, you know, and the photography is done, and etc. And you leave it to the team at the publishers, but they did a beautiful job with this book. Lovely little details, like
Have a
the
look.
little house at the bottom there. You know, little cut-out details.
Is that
and
your house?
Sadly not.
Beautiful. But I always say this, so that's 30 years after you started cross-stitching.
Yes.
So it's 30 years of experience in there. However many patterns
Whatever the
and charts
projects.
and things like
Yeah,
that, all
yeah.
for $14.99.
I know. When it came out originally, it was a hardback book, and it did have a chart inside the jacket.
Right.
But that was the first, however many, 20,000 copies.
Yeah.
And then obviously it's been reprinted a number of
Yeah,
times.
that wouldn't have been
since then.
$14.99, would it?
It wasn't, no.
Exactly. So that's a beautiful book there. Right, now I'm going to move on to Hardanger. No. You told me that. It was me. I just got carried away. So, right, the photos for the webs of these are a little confusing, I'm being told. So I've got two. I've got Bluebell and I've got Rose. So I'm going to do Bluebell first. Right, in the pack, you just get the one for Bluebell, right? £13.99. But look, you get your scissors.
They're fiendish as well.
They're fiendish scissors. So for
Fiendish
£13.99, you get your threads, your buttons, your linen, your needle, your scissors, and your instructions to create that. Beautiful, isn't it? Little scissor keep. So that's the Bluebell version.
Right.
Just the Bluebell. Now, Emma's taking a picture of both of them here, but just the Bluebell. Obviously, is the blue one there. I've also got it in rose. So they're identical, aren't they? Just different colourways.
Different colourways.
So,
And
so
I'll show
this
you
is
the threads in a moment.
oh. But the threads are variegated in both of them.
Yes.
In both of them. So this is the rose one. So it just depends if you've got a blue theme or a pink theme going on with it.
Absolutely.
Rose is the most popular so far. We are going to go through this in a second, but that's gorgeous, isn't it? That pink in there is just delightful, isn't it?
And I've got the threads here to show you.
Okay, and then, right, before we go on to do any stitching, I just need to point out this little book as well that Jane's done. It's Hardanger.
Well, you helped me launch it.
I did.
You were
I
there.
love
He
this
was
book.
there on the day.
Hardanger, First Steps and Stitches. Now,
Signed by herself on the
signed
kitchen
by
table.
herself. So beautiful, beautiful little book, all about the history of Hardanger and what it is, but then how to do it. But what I love is how clear are these steps. I'm going to go on step 4, step 2. Look, I mean, how close did you want to get? How to do it on the chart, the cluster block, and then this is what it actually looks like on your linen.
Yes.
Do you see what I mean? It's step 1, step 2. It takes you through every single... Well, you moved your fingers on that one. They're a bit blurred on that one. Moving too fast. But you know what I mean? And look how thorough all the instructions are. But look what you can do with it. It's just incredible what you can do. Look at the charts here. Beautiful charts. Look. Sweetie bag. Your little biscornu. We've got all the charts, all the instructions, everything you need to know in there, and the basic of how to do it, and the basics of how to do it, and the history of it, of course. Look, it's gorgeous, isn't it?
There.
£9.99 that book is. £9.99. I can't tell you how many hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of
And hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. I know. It was really, it's very much a niche. You either love Hardanger or you don't. And I love it. I think it's so easy and yet so impressive.
Oh yes, I think it's the actual doing your first one because you've got to cut threads and all sorts of things like that, and it's
that's
just
a bit,
frightening,
yes,
isn't it?
people get a bit apprehensive. But I did a CD book some years ago, which you look at on your iPad or something, and it was called Hardanger for the Horrified. And I had a lady from Norway come up and say, "Why you say this about Hardanger? It's a lovely place."
That supposed to be a Norwegian accent.
No. I hate you, John. Anyway, bless her heart, she was concerned that I was being rude about her country.
Oh.
And I was explaining that, you know, people are nervous of cutting the threads. These are the threads.
Right, okay, I'll let you have a show. So what you're showing now is the rose, thread
this is
that
the
you're gonna get
rose
in the
thread.
rose one.
And this is a thread that's made in the UK by a lady called Jean Oliver.
Right. Do I need the book? I've had a question saying, do I need the book to be
No.
able to make this, or can I just buy the...
You can just buy the kit.
Just buy the kit because the instructions in the
Yes.
kit are thorough enough.
Yes, absolutely. These came out long before the book.
Right.
So yes. So this is the variegated thread. You can see it's slightly different colours. And I've got a
So sorry, what was the lady's name?
Oliver Twist.
Oh, not the lady's name.
Jean Oliver.
Jean Oliver,
is the lady who hand dyes all these beautiful threads. And so it's called Oliver Twist. And this Hardanger, the outer part of a Hardanger project is worked
Just
in
bring it to your right
a
and
thicker.
Oh,
don't lose it.
There you going.
There we go. How's that?
There you
we
go.
are. Lovely.
Perfect.
So the pattern on the outside, before the holes are cut, is worked in a thicker thread, and then the decorative bit afterwards is done in a thinner thread.
Right.
And she happens to make two that work together really well,
Right.
hence me using them. And the little blue one is done in the same way. So this is what you're going to do. If I put this here.
Right. Perfect.
I did this little bit last night to show you. So what we've got here is that's the middle section, which you can see.
Yeah.
That's that before it's cut. And that's going to be that little edge there. And I'm just going to poke that needle through there like that. And then finish off underneath these loops on the back. We always do it that way because you can't then, in error, cut a thread that you didn't want to.
Right.
Now, this one here.
Oh, and you just moved to your left
Sorry,
a bit. That's right.
I'm going to move my bottom along a bit, so I can't keep doing it.
You're all right.
Yep. There we go.
It is. There's a great big post on these desks. It is awkward to know where to sit. Right.
Right. So I'm just going to get rid of that thread there, and then I'm going to explain how this was done. So obviously, you never spit on it because it's disgusting. And then I'm going to pop that through there. Hopefully. It's a big needle that I'm using because of the thickness of the thread. And this will make sense in a minute, I hope. Come on, you brute.
Good morning, both. It's lovely to see Jane again. Can I ask, did Jane ever appear on a gardening programme? Her voice is so familiar and soothing.
No.
Been on a gardening programme?
No, I haven't, dear.
But you love gardening, though,
Oh,
don't
yes,
you?
I certainly do. It's all happening at mine at the moment. Right, let me snip this off and then I'll explain.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, right.
Right.
There.
Right.
So if I take the needle and just explain, as I said, all the instructions are in the pack, and these are perfect if you've not worked on linen before and you want to have a go at hardanger embroidery, because once you've had a go at it, you will not be able to stop. And you get the scissors for nearly the price of the kit.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know, each one of these boxes here is called a cluster block. And you can see that I've got a horizontal one opposite a horizontal one, and a vertical one opposite a vertical one. And the corner holes are shared. All this is explained. And the important thing is you don't do what I did the first time, because cross-stitchers are naturally the meanest people on earth.
Okay.
Because you want to make Christmas cards out of all the little scraps you've got left.
Right.
So I thought, I'm not going to go round like that. I'm just going to do it on the front.
Yeah.
And then I cut it and it fell off.
Of course.
Obviously. So if you look at the back of this, you can see the same pattern exists on the back. And the only places where the thread is sticking out is on a corner there.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to show you how and where you cut. I think these are a new pair. So you can cut where the needle has been already.
Right.
So I can cut here, here,
Yeah.
and here.
Yeah.
I never cut an open tube.
No.
I can cut here, here and here, here, here and here, and here, here and here.
Right.
Now I teach, if you start in a shared hole and pick up, I will put my glasses on for this.
Okay.
Right. Pick up 2 threads and make sure you can see them on the blade of the scissor. That's the trick with hardanger.
Right.
Because you're cutting, leaning towards the little block, and you're cutting 2 threads and then another 2. And if you cut in 2s, you can't cut 3 in error. Right? I'm going to do the same the other side. Now, at the moment, if you've not done this before, you'll be looking at this and thinking, what is she doing?
What is she doing?
What is she doing? But if you look at the instructions, I'm turning the work and cutting across that end, and you'll see in a second what I was doing it for. With luck and a following breeze. And there's the beginning of the pattern, look.
Right.
You see?
Yeah. Which is
I'll
why
keep
which is a bit
cutting.
people are terrified of when
Yes,
you
of
first
course.
start. 'Cause
And
you're
if
cutting.
you've spent, well, I think one example, some of you will know a design, and I sadly couldn't tell you who it was by now, but it's called Noel, and it's a beautiful long piece of embroidery with festive colours, and the bottom is a point of hardanger. Now, if you've just done that, The temptation not to bother with the bottom could imagine, couldn't you, if you weren't sure what you were doing?
Oh yes. Oh, imagine if you'd done all that. It's taken you months to stitch all that.
So the trick with hardhanger is you never cut any threads until all the blocks are done. Now, if it was a table runner, the length of this table, and the patterns were there and there, that still applies.
Right.
So you do all of those cluster blocks, and then you check your position, and you do all of those. Because the temptation is to cut it and see what it's going to look like. And if you've cut it, it's harder to put it back together. Most things can be caught and put right. Most things.
Yeah.
Now, when I was in a shop called Husfliden in Bergen, where they sell...
We've all been there.
Where they sell... I'd taken a party of 45 ladies to Norway with my husband, thank goodness.
Oh, I bet you had a lovely time.
He's a trolley dolly.
Oh, is he?
He runs up and down with a bottle of water outrageously.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Anyway, we took all these ladies to study hardhanger, and we went to this shop in Bergen where you can buy the costume. You flicked through the book just now, didn't you? And showed the wonderful aprons and things. And a gentleman's costume cost about £35,000.
Yes, right, okay, for those of you who don't understand, in Norway, wherever you come from, what region you come from, you have a traditional dress. And the men, and both men and ladies and children and everything, and on special occasions like weddings and christenings and funerals and Christmas Day and things like that, you dress, instead of us wearing our best suits, they would wear their traditional costume. The ladies have aprons with hardhanger on, and silver, the children are given or bequeathed silver buckles for the front of the apron or buckles for their shoes and things like that. But like you just said, they cost even the ties. There's a special place you can go and get a tie that has been cross-stitched in your pattern for your area, and that's so expensive.
If a woman in hardhanger has had a daughter, she'd probably have an embroidery anglais version of the costume, but her mum would be making the panels for the aprons, ready to make up the aprons. So I was there, and there was a panel. I suppose it was so deep, and it would have been so long because it would have wrapped round a person, and it had post-it notes on it with gold safety pins. Right. And I asked, what? Oh, well, it's got some errors that need repairing. And I said, well, if I bought the damaged one, how much would that be? She said, £12,000. And that was with the yellow stickers.
Yes. So imagine how
beautiful.
Much.
But and I was amazed as well because, there is this thing about embroidery. Is it old-fashioned? Is it dated? And I was really surprised when I went to Norway properly and had a look how much the costume means to a family and how it will come out on special occasions. They're quite nationalist sounds a horrible thing to say, but they're very proud of being Norwegian. Yes. Very proud that no one else is running them, which they had a lot of putting up with in the olden days, when everyone else seemed to be in charge. And so they're very proud of their...
Oh no, they're very, very proud nation and of their traditions.
And of their traditions. So I interestingly asked this young woman in this shop about all the other stitches that I've seen done in hardhanger. We call that American hardhanger. I said, really? And she said, well, yes, traditional costume has 3 or 4 filling stitches generally.
And that's it.
With the sort of things that you would learn in the book, certainly. But interestingly, that American designers have invented hundreds of stitches for when you're making a hardhanger project. Yeah. Because we like to stitch, obviously.
No, exactly. But if you were to go back to the roots...
It wouldn't have necessarily all those different stitches. But these are delicious because you've got the change in the colours. What I was going to show you, which I mustn't forget.
Oh, yes.
Now, this is the pattern just done on paper here. All right, if I get that somewhere in there. So this is the cluster blocks I'm working on here. And the middle bit is done after the threads are pulled out. Yeah. And then these ditto. This is a cross-stitch border, which I didn't have time to stitch last night. I ran out of puff. But I just want to show you how it's made.
So you literally, to make that, you're just stitching one square.
Exactly. Yeah. And then that's how you fold the back.
Right.
And then these are slip stitched together. You make a twisted cord. It shows you how to do that out of your threads. Yeah. and a little button goes on the top at
Which
the
is
join.
also in the kit, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. So that's how you make it. So it's a very simple. If I hadn't been going to bed at 9:30 because I was getting up at 4,
Yeah.
I would have finished this to show you.
Right.
But actually,
She says that every time she comes on.
I do, just to
oh,
rub
if
it
I'd
in.
known, If I'd known I was coming.
I want to lay it on thick, okay?
Yeah.
Actually, it was just lovely this morning. I saw an owl, a deer, and I actually took part of my roof off. Well, there was bird song.
Oh, I said you didn't mean
Extraordinary.
you went under a low bridge.
No,
you
no,
took the roof down.
I just listened. I couldn't believe
No,
the
no.
bird song as the sun came up. It was amazing.
And isn't this, I mean, when I drive in now, it's just beginning to get light. And then when I get to a place called Studley,
Yes.
the sun's just coming
there.
over
And
the
it was
horizon.
bright
there.
red this
And this
morning.
morning, it was just the most.
It was the brightest
incredible
red
colour.
you've ever
Yes.
seen.
Yeah.
Quite extraordinary.
And that's why I love about that's the one thing I love about coming to work this early. It's in the summer or in this time when you see,
beautiful.
because some of the sunrises like bright pink, they're like
Yes,
fuchsia
yes,
pink and
yes.
powder blue
Amazing.
and things like that.
Amazing.
Anyway, we've got one more thing to show you
right,
this hour
sorry.
before we go on, and I love this one. This is your Blackwork House Sampler. This is called. And this is what it says on the tin. It's just blackwork, isn't
Yes.
it? It's just black thread that you use.
So I'm going to show you some examples here. The easiest one is this one. I'm going to put that on top
Yeah,
of the picture.
perfect.
Now that's the sleeve of, I think it's Lady Jane Grey.
Now, you know who brought it over? Which of King Henry VIII had 6 wives.
Yes.
One of them came from Spain,
Yes.
which she'd be Catherine of Aragon. She came over, and they say she brought the blackwork
How
over.
interesting.
Blackwork over with her, and she came over to marry his brother, and he went, oh, I'm having her. So he married her, and she did all the blackwork on his shirts
Well,
and
there
everything
you
like
are,
that.
you see. We've got our John.
Yeah.
Well, this was from a painting by Holbein.
Yep.
Now, that has given the name to the blackwork stitch. So we use Holbein embroidery, which is actually running stitch.
Right.
Running stitch one direction, and then coming back and doing running stitch in the other direction, meaning that it looks the same on both sides.
So it's not cross stitch then.
This is not cross stitch. The house has cross stitch on it.
Right. Okay. Oh, so the original blackwork wouldn't have been
Wouldn't
cross
have.
stitched.
That's right. And there's some black work here. Look.
Which Queen Elizabeth I absolutely loved it. And Holbein,
Right.
that is that Holbein as well, because Holbein,
Almost certainly.
it was her painter, was the royal
Exactly.
painter, wasn't he?
So this is slightly different, and this is a combination. Can't say the word. Combination.
It's all right, you can go and have another gin in a minute.
Well, wouldn't that be nice? So there's a bit of cross stitch on this, but the rest of it is done in black work. And we call it black work, but these days it's common to see this type of embroidery done in other colours.
Right.
It used to be done generally in black and gold to give an impression of very luxurious lace.
Yes.
And it would be two-sided, because hence cuffs would be. And if you do on a picture like this, I'm not going to know if you've done backstitch, because I'm not going to see the back of your picture.
Right. Yeah.
So you can get away with backstitch. And certainly in any blackwork project, if you're doing the running stitch and coming back again to fill in the gaps to make it two-sided, you do sometimes end up in blind alleys, and you're going to have to do a backstitch to get to the next stitch.
Yeah, of course.
So this is done in some stranded cotton, some gold. It's worked on Dublin linen, I think.
I can tell you. Dublin 26 count ivory linen,
Yes.
needle, stranded cotton, gold metallic threads, and chart and instructions.
And there you are.
Now there's grey in this one as well as black.
Yes, there's grey.
There's grey in
There's
the
some
work
of
as well.
In the border, there's some grey.
Beautiful.
And there's some grey in the house. It's nice, isn't it?
Isn't it beautiful?
So many blackwork patterns of flowers. I just wanted to, you know, when you look at for blackwork patterns, they're generally big petal flowers, because they were often done that way. So it was really nice just to do something that wasn't a flower.
Exactly. The first time we've had this, isn't it, Hannah? Yeah, first time
believe
we've
so.
had this
Yeah,
on the
I
show.
believe so.
22, I think it's lovely. It's very, very dramatic, like you
Yes,
say,
it
isn't
is
it?
very dramatic.
June said...
Hello, June.
oh, I've lost it. Where's it gone? Our Jane always looks so effortlessly elegant. But she says, John, you might calm babies, but you drive my dogs hyper. That's nice, isn't it? Many moons ago, nights in a care home, I took my cross-stitching with me, and after a few nights, I got the interest from all the other carers and ended up with us all cross-stitching during the evening.
Good.
Jane is a true lady, if only they knew.
If only they knew.
Did they use ink to make the pattern to sew? Or what? I think they'll have just done it freehand, won't they,
Yes,
in those
I think
days,
they would have done it freehand.
We have a question from Karen before we go. Can you do this blackwork house without the gold thread, as I find it quite difficult to use? Yeah, it's got gold thread in it.
You can use it and do it without.
Yeah, but you can do it without.
There is a gold thread in here that I think is the most acceptable of the gold threads.
Okay, brilliant.
Because I completely agree with you, it's a tiresome thing. Use short lengths, so half the lengths you've been given, and use all that you don't separate it. But I'd cut it in half and use that, and then when it gets scruffy, get rid of it.
Is that what's wrong? As you stitch it, it starts fraying.
It starts to snag against the linen. This is a good one that we use. It's one I found after years of swearing at it.
Yeah.
So this is, use shorter lengths if you fight it.
Is the gold used as a highlighter then?
It's used
I
on
see, like
the
the
flowers,
leaves
you
and
see.
things, yeah.
The flowers have got a little bit of gold on. And actually, if you prefer, use a colour.
Yeah. Or not at all.
Yeah.
Right, we've got to go, but let's just recap the first two, because they're about to sell out. The first two projects we showed you, which was the love token.
Oh, yes.
You've got everything over there. I've got nothing left here, I'm afraid.
Yes, well.
It'll be on somewhere on the table. I'll show you from a picture. $29.99. Now, we had it on Ada and we had it on linen. There's the finished item there. Single figures of the Ada.
It is lovely. I was ever so pleased with it.
Beautiful. I'm not surprised. It's gorgeous. And then put the linen one through. And single figures on the linen one. Very popular. Right, everything for Jane's other hour coming up are on pre-order. The fabric kits are selling fast already. And which one? Oh, and the magnetic hippo. You're all loving. Oh, in fact, is it Lo that collects those? I think Lo collects those. Anyway, don't go anywhere because Emma's up next with a quilt that's this big. We'll see you in 3.
Have you heard about all of the different ways you can shop with Sewing Street and Yarn Lane? You can either shop on our websites, sewingstreet.com and yarnlane.com. You can also order by phone by calling our friendly UK customer service team. For Sewing Street, call 0800 001 4433, and for Yarn Lane, call 0800 4700 600. And don't forget about the Sewing Street app. Here you can shop all of the Sewing Street products as well as watch the live shows from anywhere. You can download the app onto your smartphone or your tablet by simply searching Sewing Street in your app store. And one final thing, no matter how many times you check out on Sewing Street or Yarn Lane in one day, you will only pay 1 postage and packaging. Happy shopping!
Hi, I'm Rebecca Harrison. I live in Bromyard in Herefordshire with my 3 children and my dog. I've been sewing for over 30 years. I first started at school. We always did lots of sewing, and my mum used to sew at home as well, so that's where my love of sewing has come from. My background is in costume, as I'm sure you can see, and I make for film and theatre and TV. I've worked on films such as Titanic, Shakespeare in Love, Evita, James Bond, and theatre work. I've done things like Mary Poppins, Guys and Dolls, Prince of Egypt. I've also worked for the Royal Opera House and the Royal Ballet. When I worked at Angels, I was lucky enough to meet lots of film stars. They're all walking around the building and in fittings. And some of the people that I bumped into and met were Sir Richard Attenborough, Hugh Grant, Imelda Staunton, Juliette Binoche, and I even got in the lift with Christopher Lee. And that's where I met the lovely John Scott, which obviously you all know. I'm really pleased to be joining Sewing Street. I can't wait to see you all.
If you're a Sewing Street or Yarn Lane customer, no matter how many times you check out in one day, you will only pay 1 postage and packaging. So don't wait to add the item you want to your basket and check out. You will only pay 1 P&P even if you check out multiple times in one day.
Are you a fan of Sewing Street and Yarn Lane? Why not join our growing Facebook fans pages? Just search Sewing Street Fans and Yarn Lane TV Fans on Facebook and click Join Group. It's that simple. Never miss out on the latest news and updates from our presenters and guest designers, special offers and plenty of chat with your fellow fans. Share photos of your makes, ask for advice, interact with your favourite guests and presenters and be a part of the ever-growing sewing and yarn community. See you there!
In need of a crafting fix? There are so many ways you can watch Sewing Street and Yarn Lane. Sewing Street is live from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. every day on Freeview 72 and Sky 670. Alternatively, if you want to watch us on a tablet or on the move, you can tune in on our YouTube channel, the Sewing Street app, or the websites at www.sewingstreet.com and www.yarnlane.com. You can watch past shows on Sky 670 from 1 p.m. every day, as well as our YouTube channel, the app, and our website. Yarn Lane is on from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Visit our programme guide to find out when and what's on. So you never have to spend a minute without us. Emma's back, and look at this gorgeous, it's so cute, this. I mean, the work that's gone into this is just incredible, isn't it? Look, there's my hand. It's as big as two of my hands. It's tiny, isn't it? That is all pieced. She's not drawn it. She's not coloured it in with felt pens. It's not a panel that she's cut out. That is all pieced. I know. And it comes from this book, which we will go through in a second, but it's brand new here at Sewing Street. Never had it at Sewing Street before. £12.99, miniature quilts, 15 inspirational designs with all the templates that you need as well. Miniature quilts are a thing. It's a big competition thing around the world. And also, when they are, there are so many rules and regulations. I don't know if it's in here, but they have to be smaller than a certain size. They have to have all sorts of things to make them valid to be able to go in for a competition. They have all, and it's a big thing. It's a big, big thing. I will go through this book with Emma in a second, but it's got all your templates are at the back there. And then you've got all of your, that one's just quilting on that one. I mean, I say just. Yeah, if you've got a miniature quilt, send in a picture. Send us in. If you've got this book, because I know some people have already got this book, send in a picture from the book. You can only send in a picture via the email, by the way, which is studio@sewingstreet. That is studio@sewingstreet.com. Okay, look at these. They're beautiful. Look at that. Imagine giving that as a gift. That Sweetheart 3. Oh. Where's Sweetheart 1 and 2? Yep. Now, those of you who used to watch us at Sewing Quarter might recognise this one because Joy made this one on Sewing Quarter. And if you're going to buy the book, Emma agrees this is the one you should start with because they do get more challenging as you go through the book. But that's beautiful. That's really beautiful there. Look at this one. I mean, how incredible. Tiny, tiny, tiny. Well, we just talked about Holbein, who used to paint the Queen Elizabeth I, right? And he used to do his paintings this big. His paintings were like this big. Like proper paintings, but tiny, tiny, tiny like that. That's all pieced up. That's that pineapple. That's a pineapple, isn't it? Hang on, let me have a look. Look. It's incredible, isn't it? Beautiful. The whole... Well, I'll go through it properly with Emma in a second. But I just want you, oh, there you go. There's the one we're doing. I just wanted you to have a look at the book. Look, I love that one. Friendship Party, that's called. We can't have those at the moment, though, can we? Flying Geese. Let's have a look how they do that one, then. Oh, I don't know. This one's called Foundation Templates and Sizes are given without seam allowance. Add a 1/4 inch around each foundation template and edge. Oh yeah, paper piecing it says there, doesn't it? See templates on side 2 of insert. I'll have a look in a minute. I'll have a look. They're just incredible, aren't they? Oh, there you go. That's what they call their paper piecing techniques. There you go. So it's like foundation paper piecing, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, that's the book. I've got 3 bundles. If you want to make this, I've got 3 bundles available today. I've got this one, which is the one that Emma's used. So you get 1/2 metre of navy, 1/2 metre of ivory, 1/2 metre of that lovely stripe paisley. That's from Kingston range. I don't know if it's Kingston, Jamaica, or Kingston on Hull, or Kingston upon Thames. Bandanas and cowboys. Oh, there you go. £13. Right, obviously, you don't get the book in that. That's just for that 1.5 metre of fabric there. You might not want to do a miniature quilt. You might like those 3 colours just to make something else, might you? Beautiful. Then, the one Emma is going to be demonstrating in is this one, where you have your ivory, your claret, I'm thinking that might be, and then your stripe with your claret flowers in. That's like the colours that they've done in the book, isn't it? They've done a red one in the book. £13.49. This is the same range here, all Kingston. And then I've got another range. If you don't want the red, don't want the dark blue, I've got the Kingston floral stripe. I've got ivory, and I've got a kind of Air Force blue. No?
Yeah.
It's not called Air Force blue, though, I don't think. But it is Air Force blue, isn't it?
Yeah.
Slate. Oh, that's the one that always confuses us, isn't it? Because it's not grey, and yet it's called slate. That's why. Okay. And in the photo on the web, it looks grey, but it's definitely that colour. It's another of those misty blue ones, isn't it? £13.49. Right, you will also need some very sharp needles for your sewing machine. And we will talk to Emma about these during the show. Now I've got a sticker here. I'm not sure if it's come off that. Oh, no, it's come off that one. No, it's fine. Done it. Sharps needles, £2.49. Now, you'll also need some lightweight interfacing. It's here. It's so lightweight. I'm going to show... Emma's using it in the thing. We haven't got it in the packet. It's the one with the lady on the front. Oh, now that's iron-on. But do not iron it. You don't want to iron it, do you? Because it'll stick to your fabric.
Yeah, you can. It's okay.
Is it? You sure?
Yeah. It won't be too bad.
You sure now?
Yeah.
All right. Emma says she's the expert.
Yeah.
Who am I?
As long as it's only sticky on one side.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
That's fine.
Right, yeah. And Orifils. It's because the trolley's gone. They were still on the trolley. Have we got a picture of the Orifils? We're just bringing it up now. Which one is it? Oh, there it is. Oh, it's the one we had yesterday. The Pat Sloan perfect little box of neutrals there. Got the blues and the creams in. All 50 weight, £33.99. Right, let's go through this book, Emma.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen it before?
I haven't. I've never actually made a miniature quilt before.
Oh, haven't you?
No.
And how did you find it? How did you find the book?
Nice. It's not for absolute beginner quilters.
No.
I'll say that.
Definitely not. Yeah.
Because she does go through some of the techniques in the beginning, but the instructions are a bit sparse as far as background.
So she's expecting you to understand quilting techniques and things like that.
Yes,
right.
But she does go through it quite well, and some of the things that you need to know for doing miniature quilts in particular.
Right.
Let's see, and free motion quilting. So it gives you the bare bones of the techniques in the beginning of the book. But if you want to know more and really perfect it, obviously you need to delve deeper into that particular aspect.
Of course. And then you were agreeing with, weren't you, the one that Joy did with the seagull on the seat is the best one to start with.
Yes, because it's not as tricky as I thought it would be. Anyway, it's all paper pieced, which I don't like paper piecing.
No, exactly.
But this is really nice because it's such tiny pieces. You really have to work hard to not cover the whole piece with the fabric. But the seagull I think would be perfect as a beginner and then progress on to
So you wouldn't be able to do because you like American hand piecing, don't you, in real life? You wouldn't be able to do these your technique, would they?
No,
John. Shut up. Don't ask that question.
No, definitely not.
But all in all, it's a beautiful book, isn't it?
It is, it's gorgeous. And I actually bought it myself as well after I borrowed Jess's to do for the show.
Oh,
I actually...
she just kept ours.
It's Jess's.
Oh, okay.
It was Jess's. So I bought one because I'm kind of, well, I'll say addicted, but I definitely want to try some other ones in it now that I've done the first one.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, and you'll go more and more complicated, more and more intricate as time goes on,
Yeah.
Brilliant. All right, then. So shall we start on today's project then? So what's it called? I've lost where it is.
Ooh, that's actually a good question. I just called it the Little Houses.
I'm sure that's what it's called.
Because it is a very traditional schoolhouse.
Yes, no, it is.
Schoolhouse
it
and
is.
ivy. There it is.
Schoolhouse and ivy. So the ivy is actually embroidered, is it?
It's machine quilted.
Oh, machine quilted.
Yeah,
okay.
free motion machine quilted.
Okay.
Yeah,
And what's the middle block then?
the middle block? It's applique,
Right. Okay.
and I just did raw edge applique rather
Okay.
than tucked under. Although she does.
Well, it must
say-
be that big.
Yeah, they're tiny.
Yeah.
They're tiny. So yeah.
How fantastic! And all the templates and everything you need are
In
the
the
book,
back.
aren't
So this is the pull out, and everything that you need. And this is to scale.
they? Oh, that's good.
Yes. So everything that you need is right here, which is why I asked for the light box.
Light box, yeah.
Yeah. So this is everything I need for that particular block. So it's all together. So it's really easy to find. You've got your templates for your actual block right here to
Right.
trace out. You've got your quilting design.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So that was really easy to match to the book, even though it's not perfect. It's a good sort of...
You saying your work's not perfect? It's lovely. It's adorable. It's so. I don't know if I'd have the. I have to be completely honest. I don't know if I'd have the patience. To do it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You're going to surprise me.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I mean, I have to admit, it wasn't as quick to make as I thought it would be. So because you're really doing the same thing as you would for a big quilt, only you're just scaling it down.
So it's all in. It's all in proportion, isn't it?
Yes.
So it's not like just it's little. It's like if you did the big quilt, you do exactly like this, but that size. But
Yeah.
you're doing it that
tiny,
size.
tiny, yeah. And there was quite a bit of picking as well, I have
Oh,
to
was
admit.
there?
Yeah, because if you're off on this one, it's a lot more noticeable than if your seams don't quite match on a big quilt.
Yeah, of course.
Because they're so small, it's a lot more noticeable, and I wanted to make sure that it was the best I could
But
do.
it's a good challenge. It's a lovely
Yeah,
if you want a
yeah. Oh,
challenge.
yeah. Definitely for an advanced quilter, and you're, you don't have any need for any more quilts, or your friends and family are telling you, like, please, no more quilts. You don't need any more. Or you're running out of space, like I'm running out of space. This is perfect for the next challenge. And, or if you really want to make a big quilt, but you want to try out the colours and see what they'd look like in that pattern.
Oh, yeah, good idea.
Yeah. So you could try them out in a miniature
Yeah.
before making the big one.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Right, shall we make a start then on
Yeah.
ours? So you've taken your template and what have you done with it?
So I'm going
You've transferred it
I'm going
to
to transfer
something.
it. Now, the book says to use paper or tissue paper,
Right.
something that you can pull out like you normally would for foundation paper piecing. I tried it with tissue paper, and because you have to reduce the size of your stitches so much, when I sewed across it, it literally just cut the paper in half.
Oh, okay.
Which makes it harder to then be accurate on your next seam because your paper is flapping
Of
about.
course, yeah.
So I recommend for an absolute beginner, interfacing, lightweight interfacing. Now you won't be able to rip it out once your stitches are made, and it will make it a little bit thicker than if I wouldn't use this to go into a competition.
No.
But as you're first off, this doesn't make it a lot easier to do it.
Perfect. And what about, is it the same with if you bought that foundation paper piecing paper, would that be the same? Would that just...
Yes, because even in regular paper piecing, you do reduce your stitch length anyway, so it's easier to rip it out. But because on a miniature quilt, you want to reduce your stitch length, I think it says to 1.2 to 1.6.
Oh, crikey,
Yeah.
tiny.
So again, you're just doing everything in miniature. So if you left your stitches at the same length as normal, you might only have a couple of stitches.
Yes, and then it would overrun the end. If you've got normal size stitch, it could overrun the end, and then you've gone off the whole point of doing it.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to reduce your stitch length. So I used lightweight interfacing. I want to make sure that my sticky side is face down.
Right.
Because when you trace it, it's going to be your picture's going to turn out in reverse.
Right.
For this particular block, most of the pieces were fine to do this way, but for the house, the roof, because it has a direction, you want to make sure that you trace it in reverse.
Right.
So I'm going to do it on the sticky side first and then trace it through to the other side.
Right.
So that it's actually going the opposite way. And I'm just using a marker, a fine tip marker pen
Right.
for this.
Does she recommend a particular pen for it in the book?
She does. It's a Sigma, it's a Sakura, so it's a like the type of marker you would normally use for fabric marking.
Oh, okay.
Anyway. Yeah, but a fine tip.
I think Mandy Shaw uses Sigma pens all the time, doesn't she, when she does her dolls and things like that?
Don't use a friction pen for this part.
Don't?
No, because once you iron it, it's all going to disappear.
Okay, you do get a friction, if you saw when the light box came in, it's there, you get 2 friction pens as a
Oh, perfect, yes, because you will need those when it comes to tracing out your quilting design onto your quilt.
Right.
So that's my house. I'm going to flip that around and draw it the other side. I've actually got some of the chimneys already cut out.
Okay.
That's
The
one
light
of
box
those.
is sort of essential for it, really, isn't it?
It
for tracing
is,
this off.
yes, definitely. Make sure that you've got some room around all of your templates as well. So don't butt them up against each other. So it's a little bit when you draw out your American hand piecing.
Oh, right, okay.
They are actually to scale, and what you're marking on your interfacing is actually your sew lines.
Right, so
So
you
you
need,
make
to,
sure-
need
yeah.
to leave a little bit more.
Around the edge for your
But how
seam
much seam
allowance.
allowance should you leave? Because a quarter of an inch is going to feel like vast, isn't it?
It is, yeah. You trim them all down to 1/8 of an inch. I know, they're tiny, tiny.
Yeah. Do you want to pick
Okay.
up your pen top?
I
and
will,
there's your things
before
for
it dries out and I lose it. Ooh,
Oh,
I think it might have gone under.
oh no.
Just remind me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I'm going to put that away for now. Oh, it's like a map.
Yeah. Lots of youngsters won't know what you're talking about.
It's true.
when you think, well, especially me, when I first started to learn to walk, when I first started to drive, you'd have to look at the map like that while you were driving.
Yeah.
Didn't you?
Yeah.
And my car had no radio in it, so I used to take a CD player with me on the passenger, a cassette player on the passenger. And I used to smoke. So goodness knows I used to drive doing all of that sort of thing.
I used to, well, I kind of want to get another one again, but that's another thing. So when I was at university, I had a Saab, an old Saab. I only had a tape player. And then, of course, we got iPods coming in and things like that. So I used to have one of those tapes. Remember those tapes you used to put into the tape player and it had a little cord that came out that you could plug into things?
Yes.
I used to have one of those in there.
Oh.
Yeah. Back in the day.
I have to say though, when I had money, I'd buy a new car. But then I used to say to them, "Oh, can I have can you put a cassette radio in it?" They're like, "But it's got all of this," and I'm like, "No, I've only got cassettes."
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So what are we doing now then?
So now we're going to start piecing a little bit.
Okay.
Let me just mark this. You can see it quite well through it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do it again. So you can see I've just done the roof in reverse. Each part is actually numbered. So she's numbered the order in which you have to piece everything.
Okay.
So what I did, because they are quite small pieces.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't sneeze.
No. So I found it easy just to cut sort of strips, maybe 1/2 inch wide.
Right.
And about 1 inch long, even though this is more than I need, for sure. But it just makes it easier handling as well.
Yeah, of course.
And then I can trim it all down. So cut a couple of those out. Oh,
What do you mean?
here. I need some white. Or cream. Or natural, whatever it is. Ivory, even that.
If in doubt. Oh yeah, quick email. Hi John and Emma.
Hi.
I've just ordered the book. I'm looking forward to making a teeny tiny quilt.
Oh yeah, you'll love it. It's a little bit addictive, I have to admit.
Oh, I can imagine. Loving the show, what? Love Emma's demos. Oh, from Lynn by the Sea in Cornwall.
Oh, bless you. Thank you, Lynn. Right, so this is done in order.
Yeah.
So I have, Microtex needle.
Oh, yeah. Now, you kept calling it Microtex this morning, but what does that mean?
It's the shape of the needle. So different brands of needle call them different things.
Right, okay.
So Microtex is a name by one of the brands,
Oh,
but
okay.
Sharps is
Yeah.
another way.
Okay.
So they're just, the point is a little bit longer and finer
Right.
and pointier than a normal needle.
Right.
I tend to use Microtex ones for piecing anyway. Piecing, free motion quilting, they're quite good. But definitely for this, you need it a little bit finer. I'll refill 50 thread, so a finer thread.
Yeah.
I actually used some polyester, really fine polyester thread on the quilt itself.
Right.
But you don't have to. It does need to be quite fine though, not like a normal Gutermann that you would use for, or Metler.
General sewing, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So what are you doing?
So
I can't even figure out what
I
you're
know.
doing.
I'm just doing my first bit of paper piecing.
Okay, can you just hold that forward so we can look at it from upstairs?
Yeah.
Right, so the bit underneath is the interfacing, is it?
Mm-hmm. And I've got it. I've got it. Oh,
Yeah.
no, sticky side up, sticky side down.
Right.
There we go. And I've just layered up my background, my
Yeah.
cream, and my red is going to be my roof.
Right.
And again, these fabric pieces are much larger than I actually need.
Oh my goodness.
But I'm going to trim it down, but having it that size makes it easier to handle. So I'm just going to do my first stitch.
Loads of people checking out the book. I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
There we go. And what I did when I started, I did my first block first, did one first, and actually had a little play around with, saying that
stitch size.
Didn't reduce my stitch size. There we go. Oh, there we go. And then once I decided what colour I wanted everything, then I just chain pieced all of the blocks at the same time. So just trimming that off.
Yeah, just come from upstairs so you can.
Yeah. So literally, it is 1/8 of an inch.
Right.
And that whole chimney part, I think, is maybe 1/8 of an inch. So I'm just going to fold that over. There we go. So I'm going to do the same as I normally would with paper piecing. So I'm folding this over to cut off a little bit extra. There we go. I'll do this one.
So you're doing the two, are you doing a little bit with the two chimneys now?
Two chimneys, yeah. And then I'll do the roof, because the roof is the only one that has a little bit of a tricky technique.
Oh, okay.
And the roof was actually the first one I did. You know, I said you really have to work hard in order to not cover the whole shape.
Yes, yeah.
I managed it.
Okay. That many hours, hardly saying it's brilliant, but my eyesight would struggle with such tiny pieces.
I'm, well, say lucky. My near sight is okay. My distance is what I need glasses for.
Okay.
So.
What would be brilliant is one of those native lighting.
Oh, yes.
One with a really strong light and a magnifier on the top. That would be brilliant,
yes.
wouldn't it? I think Claire's on with me again soon. No, she's just emailed me. I don't know what, yes. I don't know what date it is, but she's just emailed me to say that she's on with me. You finished with the light box? I can't even come in and take it away. Sorry.
Oh.
That's good. No,
I can move it aside.
In your way, you can just
No,
get
I'll just move it
push
aside.
to the
I won't need it until I do the quilting part. So I'm just going to press this bit because the next one.
Well, Di, you sent in a message, but there's no picture attached. Was there meant to be a picture attached to it?
So I'll fold that over, trim it.
Now, I suppose if you had a machine that had the straight needle plate and the straight stitching needle plate, you'd use that for this, wouldn't you, as well? So that there's no chance of it
going down.
and being eaten by your machine.
Yeah. Yeah, that would help definitely.
Yeah.
But I did find using the interfacing gave it a little bit more stability
Yeah,
as well.
I can imagine. Because also the pieces, if you did then take the pieces out, the pieces would be these, what are these? Tweezers. To take them all out, wouldn't you? Because they're going to be tiny, tiny pieces.
There we go. It's the last bit for the chimneys.
Did the cat love all these little pieces?
Oh, he didn't actually mind too much. He did come and help me.
Oh.
But he usually just sits by my machine and just watches.
Okay.
He's actually a good boy.
Oh. No, because whenever Dulcie's doing her little EPP, her hexes and things, he comes in and he's throwing them all over the room.
I did have a cat. Who
Apparently Claire's on with me on Tuesday. Thank you.
Oh.
That was the one that Jackie's
nice.
just messaged in.
Perfect. There we go. That's my chimney.
That's your chimney stuff.
Yeah, it looks a bit.
that close to. Hang on.
Oh,
Hang on. Where are you? Just move it to your right a little bit, Emma, for me.
there we go.
Okay. Crikey, so there's
Yeah,
your chimney.
and it looks a bit skewy, but that's because only a small part of that is actually going to be
Yes, yeah.
the chimneys.
Yeah, it's literally like 1/8 of an inch square, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, tiny, tiny.
Oh no, you see, I'd lose that. That'd be like I'd come back into the room like, where's my
Where'd I
chimneys gone?
Right, so this one.
So is this the roof now?
This is the roof. So the roof part, let's see what colour. Oh yeah, I'll do red and then I'll do the other colour. So red here. This was kind of done in 2 parts.
So the roof is like the main roof, then like a gable end in the background,
Yeah.
then a triangle in a different colour, and then another triangle.
Yeah.
So I can get the technique. I've got the technique. It's just the
If you're familiar with FPP, this will be second nature to
Yeah.
you. It's just the getting your head around the FPP part, as well as it being tiny.
Shelley says, try spinning wool with 3 Jack Russells around. Ooh,
Ha.
that'd be a nightmare.
There we go. I'm just getting the needle moved a little bit because it wasn't quite in the middle.
Jenna's saying, would it be easier by hand?
No.
Oh, no. No, Jennifer, sorry, no.
Yeah, sorry, no. It is, unless you have really tiny hands and needles, it is actually less fiddly than doing it by hand and making such tiny stitches.
I don't know if you were watching the Jane's last show. She had this ball that had been knitted using silk thread on sewing needles. Can you imagine doing knitting on sewing needles? I think if she was able to, you'd be able to do this by hand if you did that.
Yes, if you could do that, yeah, definitely. Yeah, that was amazing. And the age of it as well.
I know. I can't imagine you'd use much of the fabric.
You don't, you have lots left over.
I was going to say.
You have plenty left over, definitely. So you could...
Jennifer, full of admiration for Emma in the face
bless you.
of such a Sewing Street challenge.
There we go. So roughly trimming them to the... It's a little bit bigger than the seam allowance that I need, but it gives you the idea of the shape. So you can line up the next one. And it'll be the next bit that is the tricksy part.
Uh-huh.
There we go.
Can you see that from above? Is that possible, Emma?
Oh.
Oh, hang on. No,
Sorry.
no, there's two Emmas, so it's
Yeah.
complicated. There you go. So you're just trimming it off.
Just trimming it off so seam allowance. I don't know if you can see the stitches.
I
They're
don't
not-
know.
No, they are literally tiny, tiny.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because the amount of stitches you did then sounded like you were doing a long seam, but because
Yeah.
the stitches were so
So
tiny.
small. So I'm going to fold that over. That's my gable end.
Uh-huh.
Fold that over there. Roughly trim it to the seam allowance that I need.
Hannah and I would be rubbish at this because we both get hay fever.
Oh.
All it takes is one sneeze and that's your whole
Yeah, it's done.
quilt gone, isn't it? She'll say, I don't know if I should say that she gets really angry with little fiddly things, so she'd have sweaty palms and she'd be shouting.
So for this bit,
Oh, hang on, now this is the difficult bit.
yeah, it's a difficult bit. Well, for me
Yeah.
anyway, because I do struggle with FPP. Because you've got to sew it at an angle and you want it to lay
fold
straight.
back, yeah.
So what I did was I cut my fabric and I actually fussy cut these fabrics so that I had...
So not only is it minute, you also fussy cut it.
But only so I got the pattern on there.
Okay.
So I wanted the pattern on the roofs and then the bits. So
Yeah.
I'm going to lay it down so it covers the whole shape. Make sure it covers everything. And then what I did was folded this bit back. You can see, folded
Yeah.
it back. Oh,
There you go, well done.
there you go. And just do a little finger press. And that roughly tells me that's where my sew line needs to be.
Right.
So then I did it opposite.
Yes, because when you have to do something on an angle,
Yes.
it goes a completely different way
It
than you
does.
think it's going to go, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
which is what messed me up. So that's where it wants to be. I just want to double check when I fold it over onto that line, it is going to cover.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's funny because you put pictures on your Facebook page of this block, but I didn't know, I'd obviously just looked at the pictures and thought,
Yeah.
oh, we're doing one of those traditional,
Yeah, yeah.
because this is such a traditional
It is
pit pattern,
traditional,
isn't it? And I
yeah.
thought, oh, we're doing one of the traditional ones. Not, we're doing a traditional one, but like
Tiny,
mini
yeah.
size.
Oh, and the other thing that I did, I haven't done it on this one, but on my machine at home, I actually slowed down the speed to really, really slow.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Not like you.
I know.
But then I suppose if you are going fast, and if you go wrong, it's done, isn't it?
It
Within a
is,
second.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to adjust it when it's going
Yeah.
slow. So let me make sure that's, yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's covered.
Yeah, yeah. It's a funny noise.
No. There we go.
Right.
And then the last bit is if I fold that over and trim it again. It gives me the rough shape at the end.
Uh-huh. So you're literally working with the most minute pieces, aren't you?
Yes, and these are even bigger than you really need.
Yeah.
There we go. And then once I've got this on, I give it all a good press. And like you said, it will stick to the fabric, it's interfacing.
Uh-huh.
But what I liked about that is because your seam allowances are only 1/8 of an inch, it actually adds some
Yes, yeah,
stability
exactly.
to it.
And it's so lightweight. Oh, excuse me. It's so lightweight, isn't it, that that interfacing, that it's
Yeah.
not going to add that much bulk
No.
to it.
I mean, it does add a little bit, but not
Yeah.
nothing major. There we go.
Makes the mini iron look huge, doesn't it?
And then all I did was, every time I had a shape done, and I just trimmed it. Not quite to the right length, to the right seam allowance, but roughly. Just like that. And then you have your roofs that go on top. This is the tricky part where it matches. So the applique pins
Oh yeah, did we get applique pins, Hannah?
are the perfect size for this.
Are there any in there? Hannah will get them for you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if there is, that'd be great.
Okay. Oh, hang on. Oh, maybe not.
Oh.
Hannah's new
That's
filing system. She's done it herself, right? It all looks very tidy, but it's in Hannah's alphabet, not anybody else's alphabet.
Oh, perfect. See?
Oh.
You've little faith.
Yeah. No. It was the way she walked, thinking, oh, I forgot she wanted to applique pins.
So, actually, this mat really works well. I did it on my wall mat as well. Because you want to pin straight down, because if you move them to the side, it shifts ever so slightly. So
We've only got that matte book in the blue left. It's the one with the houses on is all sold out. We've still got it in the blue spots.
Yeah. It'll still be great matte. It's still perfect. Really useful.
Oh, applique pins are coming the way to waiting to come back in. They sold out the other day with Mrs. Macadamia Nut. Dale says, oh my word, this is teeny. I love it. Being a hobbit, I have a passion for all things miniature. Can't wait to try a mini quilt pattern.
Yeah, it is really slightly addictive, I have to admit.
Oh.
And then it's making sure that you get the bits matched up where they need to match correctly.
So you're now saying the chimneys to the roof, is that what you're doing next?
Yeah, so the goal is to match everything up the way it needs to be. So I'm just going to pin, like I said, I'm just pinning straight down. I'm not going sideways. And because the pins are smaller, make sure I've got that in there. I can actually just leave them like that. Of course, I'll take them out before I go over the needle.
Oh,
needle, but there we go. Now we'll see.
How long did it take you to make this whole quilt then?
I did it over a few days, but it actually wasn't far off doing a big quilt.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
But then if it's all in proportion, I suppose it is going to take you the same amount as a big quilt, isn't it?
And there was quite a bit of unpicking as well, I have to admit.
A few people are concerned about putting small pieces through their machine like this. Have you got any tips? Well, my tip would be use your straight needle plate if you've got one.
The foundation, the interfacing rather, really helps to not have the machine sew it. Make sure you use a Microtex needle, or if you don't have one at hand, at least a brand new needle, because that's another thing, is having a dull needle.
And also, a little thing that you're doing, and you do it on most of your sewing, is holding the thread that's on the end to pull it through, because that way it's less likely to get swallowed down into the, or nesting underneath it, isn't it?
Yes. And then also, I am leaving quite a generous, I mean, it doesn't look like it, but I'm leaving a generous amount.
Yeah, way too much. She's being very wasteful.
Around the piece. There we go, because you do trim them down.
Yeah.
So anything to make it easier for you to handle, definitely. Let's see.
Here we go. Live on
not
telly.
Too bad. Had a little peek, it's not too bad.
Oh, she's going to trim it before she's even shown us.
Yeah. Well, I had a little sneak peek, it's all right.
Okay.
There we go. And let's see. Definitely don't fight which way that the seam allowances want to go on this, because it will just go however it wants. If I pin this down, because it wants to fold up.
Of course it does, yeah. Look.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
And again, that the top of that roof doesn't look quite right, but it's only going to be
Yeah.
about
You've
that
got. Hang on. Yeah, you're gonna have short chimneys like that. So
Yeah.
you're gonna on yours. They're not going to be long. Mind you, I quite like. Look, they're like old period chimneys when they're like that. Aren't they?
Yeah. And it's just continuing in that vein. So the
Okay.
roof, I would say, is the trickiest part.
Right.
And then the next bit are the windows, which are a lot more straightforward because it's just straight seams and
Oh,
squares.
okay. Yeah.
The only thing that you need to do, and I haven't marked mine, because once you get into the rhythm of them, you kind of know where the fabrics go.
Yeah.
But if you're struggling, definitely mark them with the numbers. So, white. And this part has definitely helped to have your little rectangles cut out because they're all about the right size.
Uh-huh.
Go.
So which bit do you do now, the doors or the windows?
I'm going to do the end ones with the window in the middle and the sides of the wall around the outside. So the left-hand side of the
Oh, I thought that
house.
was the front door.
Oh, the front door, yeah.
Might not be.
No,
Might be wrong.
No, it probably is a front door. You're probably right, actually. I just put it down as window.
Yeah.
But it's got a bit at the bottom. I guess it kind of a lentil
Step?
step, yeah.
I don't know. So where's your front door on yours then? If they're long windows, where's your front door around the other side?
I didn't think it had door, just windows.
Oh, it's not realism then?
No.
Okay.
There we go.
Has anyone sent in a picture of their miniature
Miniatures.
quilt? Oh, she's fascinated, aren't you, with Emma's demonstration? Because it's addictive just watching it, so it must be doing it.
Yeah, it's quite fun, especially when it matches and it works out right.
I was going to say, the feeling of satisfaction when
Yes.
one goes right must be brilliant.
It is, definitely. Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention about using interfacing, which again, it's not what she says in the book, but I did find it a lot easier. When it comes to trimming them off, obviously on some parts, you won't be able to trim as much off as you normally would with foundation paper piecing, just because it is stuck down and it doesn't tear. So even if it's not stuck down, the fabric of the interfacing won't tear as well.
Yeah, exactly. Beverly, we'll show you a whole block off the cutting board in a minute, so you can see it on the plain background.
Oh yes, okay.
It's the thing is, like you're saying, if you're used to foundation paper piecing, you automatically know where to cut off. But
Yes.
if you're not used to it, you just think before you cut, am I cutting actually the right bit off? 'Cause that's what
Yes,
you've got to remember. isn't it?
definitely, yeah. Double check yourself, because this is one of those, I think it'd be more heartbreaking if you got to the end and you realised that you had cut the wrong piece.
Julie says, would 100% silk thread be usable in the machine, or is it too fine?
Oh, I would have thought silk thread would actually be quite strong, even though it's fine.
Yeah, because silk thread's used for dressmaking. If
Yeah.
you're making silk dress.
Yeah. If in doubt, do a little test patch.
Yeah. And what do you say, Hannah? Yeah, use it in needle turn bigger. You don't then put that through your machine, though, do you, on needle turn? But no, use silk to make silk dresses. So I don't see why it wouldn't be strong enough.
Yes, this is one of those bits where it's, because I've sewn it, I'm not going to be able to trim off as much, so it will be a little bit bulkier then. It's a trade-off. Trade-off to having stability and ease of use and making it skinny.
Yeah. Oh, Beverly says, I so want to make a mini quilt. I love this. Oh, got a picture as well.
Oh,
Let's have a look. Oh, hang on, it's not ready yet.
Oh.
We'll show you in a minute.
okay.
I love miniature quilts and love the look
wow.
of this book. Here's one I made a couple of years ago. It's about the same size as a sheet of A4 paper.
Wow.
Adrienne in Norfolk. Oh my word. So are
Wow.
all mini quilts, do we think all mini quilts are done in this foundation paper piecing way?
I think most are.
They'd have to be, wouldn't they? 'Cause
Yeah.
you couldn't be you couldn't do them because oh yes, because we've got one of the patterns in this book is all flying geese, but you wouldn't do
Yes.
it like a normal flat.
No. Yeah, with tiny little squares and
Yeah,
it's. I have to admit, it's one of my favourite categories at the Festival of Quilts is to go and see all the mini quilts.
Oh yeah. Diane says I use Deco Bob 80 weight thread for foundation paper piecing.
That would be a good one, definitely. Okay, I've got one more bit on here, and then we can put both of these together. I'll take it off the cutting mat
Okay.
so you can see them both together.
If you want 80 weight Orifil, that's called Calm on the website. The only one we've got at the moment. I bet everyone's sitting at home like this, like I am. I'm just like watching like this.
Bit quiet time.
Well, the hour's flown by.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah.
It has. Okay. So this will be.
That
all
wasn't
I
a
do.
hint to
Okay.
hurry up. I just
Yeah.
looked at the clock like you and it's like, oh.
There we go. So again, that is much bigger than it will end up being.
There you
So
go.
you can see there's my roof. That is going to go there.
Front door.
Yeah.
Oh wow, look at it. And then just put your hand in so I can see next to your finger.
Yeah.
It's tiny, isn't it? So then you do the little red pieces to do the
Yeah.
window frames.
So the next piece, this is one that I've done, but in the blue.
Yeah, yeah,
You can see it. It wants to fold over, mostly because it's all interfacing.
yeah.
But then you've got the next square here to put together.
Uh-huh.
And then once that one is done, then you would sew it onto here. So you'd have a bottom and a top, basically. And then you'd sew your bottoms to your roof.
And
then
you
the
do
rest,
that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 times.
Yeah.
Right?
And then the rest of it, once you've got your blocks done, the rest is just sashing that you do. I actually drew my sashing onto Bondaweb, onto interfacing as well.
Oh, I was going to say, because they're very narrow.
They are.
Sashing.
You can do that, and the reason I did that is because I wanted to have the sew lines still that I could see and have a little bit more stability. But you can do exactly the same thing, maybe using a friction pen,
Uh-huh.
and just draw out your sashing sizes onto the fabric.
And is the
Just be
middle one
careful.
another square? You just put a plain square in the middle one.
It's a plain square with little appliqued hearts.
So in which order would you do it? Would you do the applique, the applique of the hearts first, and then
I did it later.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I actually did the applique after the whole quilt had been put together.
Right,
The top,
okay.
quilt top.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I sewed all of my sashing together with all of my blocks with just a plain square in the middle. And then I cut out my hearts and then appliqued them on. And that's
Okay.
just raw edge applique. And I used the embroidery foot. So I did a little bit of free motion.
Oh, okay.
Tiny bit of free motion.
So that's the
applique.
I'm just going to bring mine into shot. So that's the centre square here. Yeah, no, I need to see on this one, Emma, because I need to point to what the next bit. Okay, it's just coming over. Okay, so that's this square here, right? Then are these wide borders?
Yes.
So you've done the two top and bottom the same size as that square.
Yep.
Then you've done the two side ones like you would do on a normal quilt.
Yeah, just one normal one.
Then how did you do this?
Once the whole quilt top was put together, I then got my light box out again
Right.
And the the quilting design is actually all on the sheet of paper.
So had you made the whole quilt? Oh yes, because that goes through.
Yeah.
So you'd made the whole quilt top, the sandwich by this point, hadn't
Yeah.
you? Yeah.
Not the sandwich, just the
Oh,
quilt top.
Just the quilt top.
Yeah, just the quilt top. So then if you imagine this is my quilt top,
Yeah.
I literally just put my
Oh,
instructions
of course,
underneath.
the sandwich, you're meant to see through it.
Yeah,
Of course, yeah.
and wherever my friction pen, here it is, friction pen is, I literally just drew out the whole
Right. Okay.
quilting pattern.
Because the design is to size.
Yes.
So you know that that's going to fit
Yeah.
your square.
And it
and-
made it so much easier because if you're not, I mean, I have done free motion quilting, obviously on my sewing machine before, but that is a really nice pattern. And I wasn't confident that I could actually get it to scale and that even all the way around.
No.
So it's really nice that you can actually trace it out and just follow the lines. I mean,
Yes.
it's not even exactly as it is on the thing, but it's close enough that you get
Yeah. So
the
you
whole
trace it
design.
on while it's still just the top.
top.
Then you make your sandwich.
Yep, then you layered it up.
Lay it up. Then you did that stitching.
Yep.
And then what do these squiggly lines down your sashing? Are they on the pattern as well, or did
Yes.
you make those up?
No, those are actually part of the pattern as well, and they should be hearts. I turned mine into loops because there's no way I could have done a heart that small.
Okay, so then
But-
you did that. Then you added a blue border, did you? No, as flange. Or
As
whatever it's called.
flange,
Yeah.
yes. So in the instructions it says to use binding
Right.
to make it into a binding. I actually didn't have any cord, but also I thought the flange looked better because the way that she's got the binding is it is one continuous piece of binding all around the edge.
Right.
So where the corners go, it actually just goes around.
Yeah. Oh, I think they might have photoshopped that a little bit.
Okay, because I just like the way that
Well,
the
no.
flange
How would you
looked
do? How
better.
would you do piping around a square? I don't know how you do it. Maybe you can do it in a square.
Well, when you
wouldn't
sew your binding, and I sewed the flange on the same way. At
Yeah.
the same time, you did your binding. So I put my binding strip on top,
it?
my flange underneath,
Right. Yeah.
and then I sewed around. And you could do the same thing with a binding.
Yeah.
Trickier,
Yeah.
I think. But I liked the way the flange looked.
No,
better,
no,
'cause
it's
I like the
lovely.
little folded corners underneath.
And what you going to do with it now you've made it?
Oh, I thought isn't it for you guys? I might break
It's
it.
a shame after you've done all that work. But
Thank you to Jess.
beautiful, isn't it?
Let Jess
Right.
have it.
Thank Emma. That was absolutely brilliant. I just
Oh,
need to
thank you.
recap. I just need to recap the. I'll recap. Should I recap this first? Because I've also got lots of people still got their quilt from the first hour. So let me recap this hour first. So the book, $12.99. Oh, the thing is, give it a go. It's not going to ruin you, but lots of people are worried that they're going to get it stuck in the machine. It's not going to ruin your
No.
machine, though, is
No,
it? If you do?
it's not. No, and I mean, I haven't done anything special to this machine, and this doesn't even have a Microtex needle in it.
And also, that machine is used every day by
Yes.
every time. So if you're using your machine, I'm sure it'll be absolutely
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
But just give it a go.
Yeah.
You're not going to do any harm because there's nothing to damage it, is it? All that can happen
No.
is the fabric can go down. You can just tweezer that out afterwards.
Yeah.
It does go on. No, and you've not used up lots of fabric either doing it. $12.99 is the book. I have 3 bundles. I have the bundle that this one is made out of, which is the navy. Most popular of the bundles so far. Beautiful, isn't it? $13.49. Oh, Christine said I got so carried away with your demo, Emma Bradford. I made a mistake in my knitting.
Oh dear.
Oh, it's not your fault. Balloons. £13.49 is that bundle. Okay, then we've also got the one that you just saw demoed, which was the red and grey one, which is this one. £13.49. There isn't an orange one there. £13.49. Yes. And then we've got the other one, which is the white, the slate, and the pale patterned one. Slate looks great on the website. It's not grey. It's that lovely blue, Air Force blue colour. Okay. Now, on Emma's first hour, she did this quilt, which you loved and loved and loved, but several people have just got it still sitting in their baskets. So I don't want anyone to miss out. So I'll just very quickly, there it is. That's a finished quilt. £84.99. What you get in the bundle is you get the instructions, You get 2 meters of white. Oops. You get half a meter of rabbits, foxes and trees on blue. You get 1 meter of your stripe because that's your border and your binding. Then you get half a meter of your trees on white. Then you get half a metre of your cheeky foxes. Then you get half a metre of your cute bunnies. And then you get 2 meters of this, which is, we call it lollipop, but it's actually called it striped panel. It's a 2 meter piece where you have that fabric, that fabric, that fabric, that fabric, and that fabric on there. All of that for £84.99. Now, what I don't want you to do is miss out. Lots of you got that in your basket. I'm just telling you because I want you to check out your basket and make sure you get it. All right? Emma, thank you so much. Do you know when you're in next? 16th.
16th, yeah.
16th of May. What day of the week's that then? Don't know. Don't know. We don't
Not
know.
a thing.
Anyway, thank you ever so much. You drive carefully.
I will.
Have a lovely time
Thank
with
you.
the family. And I'll see you on your Facebook Live. I'll be in bed.
Okay.
Because what time do you start at? 8 o'clock?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting into bed then. Don't go anywhere. I've got Jane Greenoff with lots of new projects coming up. And she's going to show you how to stitch and on linen. We'll see you in 3. In need of a crafting fix? There are so many ways you can watch Sewing Street and Yarn Lane. Sewing Street is live from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. every day on Freeview 72 and Sky 670. Alternatively, if you want to watch us on a tablet or on the move, you can tune in on our YouTube channel, the Sewing Street app, or the websites at www.sewingstreet.com and www.yarnlane.com. You can watch past shows on Sky 670 from 1 p.m. every day, as well as our YouTube channel, the app, and our website. Yarn Lane is on from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Visit our programme guide to find out when and what's on. So you never have to spend a minute without us.
Hi, I've been asked to do a little bit of an introduction about me, so here goes for Sewing Street. I'm Sally Ann Harrison. I'm based in the UK in Bristol. I lived here all my life apart from a short stint in North Carolina where I lived for 3 years from 2000 to 2003. I specialise in patchwork and quilting. I'm a complete patchwork and quilting addict. I love small piecing, I love wool applique, all forms of applique, and I also like making small little crafty projects. How did I get into sewing? Well, I've sewn all my life. I remember the first thing I ever made was like a little bikini top from one of my mother's old overalls when I was about 9. I got married when I was about 20, 21 and started making curtains at that time. So I was a curtain maker for a long period of time. But it was in 2000 when I moved to the US that I really got into quilting big time. I discovered a local patchwork and quilting store. I took classes. I made loads of quilts. I made some fantastic friends. I met a great tutor called Michelle May. And by the time I left, I was actually beginning to exhibit in 2003. So that's how I got into doing what I do. Tell us something unexpected about yourself. Well, one of the strange things about me is that I'm the world's worst knitter. I can do most crafts. I crochet, I do punch needle, I do obviously patchwork and quilting and dressmaking, but knitting, the pins go in all sorts of weird directions. I have to concentrate. If anybody rings the doorbell, I can't stop mid-row. I am the world's worst knitter. Sewing tips to share with viewers. It's got to be the beard trimmer trick. I mean, why use an unpicker when you can use a beard trimmer to take out the seams that you've sewn incorrectly? It's just the best tip ever, I reckon. And a claim to fame. Probably my claim to fame based on my sewing career was that in 2017 I was invited to the Houston Quilt Festival, the International Quilt Festival, and it was there that I demonstrated some wool applique. It was a fantastic experience, and if anyone's debating going to the International Quilt Festival, next year, go. It is absolutely fabulous. And that's a bit about me. Thank you very much for listening.
While we're having to spend more time at home again, we're here to keep you busy and entertained. Sewing Street will be live every day from 8 a.m, bringing you plenty of demonstrations with our experts in dressmaking, quilting, bag making, toy making, needle felting, embroidery, and so much more. Our community of fellow sewists on the Sewing Street Fans Facebook group are there to chat to you about whatever you're making, sharing photos and advice. Check out the Sewing Street Facebook and Instagram pages for fun competitions and offers.
Jane's had such a busy hour prepping and everything in between the shows. You can ask her about it in a minute. But she's back with lots more stuff to show you. You wanted to talk about the bundles of fabric first, didn't you? Now, I need to tell you, the Even Weave, the linen one, is sold out, but Jane still wants to talk to those people who've bought it. And it's also available in the Ada. Right.
Okay, there we are.
Right.
So this is the one that you can't have.
Right, okay.
So this is the one that's, so those of you who've got it, well done. There's all sorts of even weaves in here. Most of them are linen, but not all. For instance, let's have a look. That's linen. That's linen. Now, there you are. That one isn't linen.
What is it then?
Well, it's probably, I don't exactly know for sure. It looks like something called Jobelan.
Right.
And it just means that it's a cotton and perhaps modal or viscose mixture.
Okay.
These fabrics are very useful. There's another one. That's not linen.
But you still count over the threads like you do on
exactly
linen.
the same.
Yeah.
Yes, the even weave. In fact, if you're honest and you look at that, you would say that's actually even weave,
Okay.
as in it's completely even.
Yeah.
Whereas if you grab a piece of linen, let me just get something that's a reasonable. There's a piece of linen, and you can see just looking at it.
Can we go in closer, Emma?
Can you see? Is that? If I go there,
Can
can you see the different thicknesses of thread?
Yes.
From that picture, you can see there's a slab there. Look, and there's thick ones and thin ones. Well, it's a bit like saying these are man-made and this isn't. Which
I was about to say, is it that? But then I didn't want it to sound. Yeah.
Yeah. So these are woven with a mixture. Usually there'll be a lot of cotton, and if you feel the edge, you can feel it. Now, if you're not sure when you get your even weave home, those of you who were lucky enough to get one, how many threads to use, what you'd do is you'd pull off a thread off the edge, get a whisker, and that's the thickness you'd usually use.
Oh, to stitch with?
To stitch with.
Oh, wow, I didn't know
So,
that.
so in other words, if you, for instance, let's just go, there was a very, yeah, you see, this is a beast.
Yeah.
I have no idea what thread count that is. Let's see if I get a decent chunk. There we go.
Is it inside the pack they'll get what you've got there, or is it random?
It's not random in that when we took a delivery, long story, won't bore you, of assorted fabrics, and there were such gorgeous combinations. We got rid of anything that was what I call nasty.
Right.
By that I mean a really weird colour that I couldn't think what you'd use it for.
Okay.
There's a sort of dark tan. Anyway, so you'll get a mixture. These are done in this sort of size. So absolutely marvellous for card making. You see, that one's got a man-made content. Now, if you're doing, when we had the strawberry needle safe one earlier, and we pulled threads out, and we did some pulled thread work on that, that you would want linen, because linen stays creased
Right.
when you crease it. You know,
Whereas the
I will.
cotton or the man-made.
They've got a man-made content, so they're often used for things like baby linens, pretty bibs, even little outfits, birth samplers, things that might get thrown on the floor and stamped on. You know.
Yeah.
So this is the even weave version,
Well, that one sold out.
which is
So you basically get. Let's go through the Ada one now because
yeah,
we
this
can
is
see
what's
what we actually
out
get
there.
in the.
This is
in the
what's
kit.
still out there. So let me just move that because that isn't
Right.
right. Bundle of threads,
Yeah.
and then we've got this is Rustico.
Uh-huh.
Now I'm told that they actually rot some of the threads to get the colour of the fleck,
Okay.
because there's a beige, but you can see it's much flatter.
Oh yeah, yeah.
If you wanted an antique field, you'd go for that one. A nice Christmas green.
Are these all different sized Adas again then?
So yes, let's just see what we have got. So that's an even weave. Oh no, it isn't. Right, that's that's hardhanger fabric.
Oh, okay.
Oslo.
Right.
So it's woven in pairs rather than in fours. If you get in amongst it, you can see pairs of threads. When I checked about this, when we were actually in Norway, they did. She said we do keep Oslo fabric for ladies who can't see linen.
Right.
But obviously they tend to do their hardhanger on linen rather than this. But this, the threads pull out very easily when you've done the cluster blocks. So we've got various counts here. That's 14. That's 14. Ditto.
So it's all lots of now. How do they know what to stitch then? Because it's all got lots and lots of different Adas in there. But is there a pattern? Is there a chart in there as well?
There's a little alphabet chart again.
Okay, brilliant.
We always stick that in case it's useful to you. I mean, I would have thought, knowing you all, as I do, you've got 37 books of little cards and small things that you like stitching.
Yeah.
And these are perfect examples if you're one of those crazy people that does all their Christmas cards. Well, that's a Christmas tree decoration.
She means it in a nice way.
Oh, no, absolutely. That is 11 count.
Right.
16. Crikey.
So you get a huge
20.
mixture of colours and different counts. You get threads and you get a chart.
Christmas red, look.
Yeah.
So lovely, smashing. I mean, you know, all sorts. And remember, when you're looking at a chart or a pattern, the size of the piece of paper has nothing to do with how big it'll be on the fabric.
Right.
You need to know how many stitches in each direction, and then you can count them to check they will fit. You see, this that could be 20 count, Ada. So obviously you might get a pattern on this you wouldn't get on the 14. So there is a little bit more work to do with these, obviously. But if you're buying fabric bundles to make things, you'll know already how to work them out.
Or also, if you're not going to planning to do a project, if you just want to learn how to do it,
absolutely,
it's ideal to have a little piece and a little bit of thread. Because then, for $16.99, you can then decide, oh, I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? You haven't broken the bank or whatever.
Yes, you've got a nice thread bundle here. These are all Madeira, so there'll be six threads to each chunk. They're done in a slip knot, so hopefully, I'm not even going to try and do that, actually, because the law of sod will apply, won't it? There we go.
Beautiful. They're £16.99. I had to look again then, because I was thinking you're getting so much money, so much for your money there. And a selection of colours, and you get your... Now, do you get a needle or not?
Yes.
Yeah, it was a needle as well?
I did, yes. I saw
There's a needle as well?
That is actually a gold needle.
Oh.
I may have to speak firmly to someone.
I think you might. Perfect, right?
So that's a lovely, lovely, lovely collection.
Yeah.
And you can stick it in your stash and it'll come in useful for something.
Okay, Emma's got a quick
not?
message saying, morning John and Jane,
Hi.
a perfect bundle for making key rings and coasters.
Perfect.
Brilliant to have different counts too. Emma in Derbyshire. Thank you, Emma.
Well done, that's exactly right.
Okay, so now the linen one is gone, the even weave one is gone, and we've still, how many have we got the Ada one left? Oh, only 8? Only 8 of the Ada one left. So if you want that, please, please, please check out your baskets. Right, load stock is the hippo.
Oh. Well, you know, some of you I know have been collecting these, and they are a bit collectible. This all started by accident, just like so much in my life, really. We had an elephant on a box, and when they made it for me at the place that make these, the elephant was too small. The proportions were wrong. And I said, what a shame, the elephant's excellent. I must think of something. I know what it could be. It could be a needle holder.
Oh.
And of course, since then, the rest is history, as they say.
Exactly. Now, the picture on the web, there are 2. You only get one. You only get one for your $9.99.
Yes, you do. And they're made in the UK, in the Cotswolds. And there is a fearsome magnet inside that, which is tiny. I mean, it's little fingernail size.
Okay, and what are they made of then?
The plastic, resin.
Resin. Sounds
yeah,
better,
resin. Plastic. No, resin, and if you look underneath when you get yours, the flat side is where they've come out of the mould and they've been what they call linished, which they get sort of polished smooth. But the little magnet gets put in halfway through the moulds are filled.
Oh, okay.
So it's in his bottom as a general rule.
Thank you. So if you drop your pins or anything like that, you can pick them up. But people just collect them, don't they?
They do.
You've got lots of different ones.
And I have a few on my desk. And when I'm working, you know, I just throw the needles and they just go, doop, doop, and then you haven't got the muddle in front of you all the time.
So that's the hippo. Oh, he's got his bottom to
I think it's got a nice bottom, actually.
£9.99. Magnetic needle holder.
Oh, and he does come boxed.
Oh, yeah, he does come in a box.
I meant to say that he comes in. These boxes were done specially for us. Because they're resin, when they come out of the machines, they're actually white, and they're dyed to look like mahogany. So there's no trees involved in any of this. If you mark one or chip it, a little black felt tip pen will do wonders. Don't polish them with spray-on polish, because you will rub the dye off.
Yeah. Perfect. Now, talking about needles, we've got 2 sets of gold needles for you today. And, well, one has got 10 needles in, and the other's got 4 needles and a pair of scissors. Which one do you want to do first, Hannah? One with the 10 needles in, please.
There you are.
Oh, come in. So, tell me, what have we got in there?
Well, this one is what we call our Pluperfect collection.
Right.
And that was, we used to have a perfect collection, and I wanted to up it one. And Pluperfect apparently does exist.
Right.
There are 28s, 26s, 24s, 22, a sharp, a beading needle, and a curved needle.
Okay.
Now, the curved needle you would use for making up boxes, possibly making up a biscornu. Certainly, I've just used one. I made a new box project for the Guild. And, you know, getting the walls up and getting in amongst it, it was really, really helpful. The big 22 would be for your hardanger embroidery when you're doing the thicker thread for the blocks. And then the rest are cross-stitch needles.
Okay, so cross-stitch needles are blunt, aren't they?
Yes. So all of these are blunt with the exception of that one.
Sharp.
I yank that out. They're all blunt because...
Oh, even the box one? Is the curved one blunt?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't realise that.
No.
No.
Of course it isn't.
No.
You see, he keeps an eye on me all the time.
I'm trying to be polite, not go, you got that wrong.
No.
So the curved one and the sharp are sharp, and all the others are blunt.
Yes, because when you are working on fabric like this, we are parting the threads, not piercing the fabric. So you don't want it to be sharp because you'll end up splitting and you'll miscount. So when you're working counted embroidery, you need a blunt needle. And the sharps are there for making up purposes, putting that together.
We've got that biscornu coming up in a little while.
Yes. And if you're putting linings in made of felt, of course, it's useful to have.
Stitching to construct is what the sharp is for,
yeah,
and everything else. And then why are the different size needles just for different size threads?
Yes, if you the 28, I would use one strand, so that would be adding your back stitch after you've done your cross stitch. And if you force too much through that eye, it will break.
Oh, okay.
Now, if you strip the gold off cross-stitch gilt needles and you can prove you bought them from us, we'll replace them.
Okay.
If you force 6 threads through a 28, we won't. Just so you know.
Yes.
And then really, the way to tell, I'll do it with a 22 actually. Let me just know. Okay, so when you if you don't know what size, if you pass the needle through the fabric, it should go through without falling through and without enlarging the hole.
Right.
So that would be perfect for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes? So that's how you would check. And as I said earlier, if you're not sure what, how many strands of thread, if you take one off the edge, you see that's quite a chunky.
Yeah. So how many would that be then, do you reckon?
3, I reckon.
3.
I'd probably, and anyway, it's so much of it's trial and error. So when you try something, it's always a good idea to do some stitches on the corner somewhere, just to look at. You may want something to be chunky for a reason.
Do you ever use all 6 strands?
Yes, I've used all 6 strands on canvas, not something I particularly enjoy using, but I do work on occasionally. And I've used 6 strands when I've wanted to do French knots that are really big, like the bottom of a hollyhocks.
Yes.
I might have done 3 or 4 knots with 6 and then gradually reduced until I got to the top.
Oh, lovely.
And it looks like it, you know, looks like it's meant to look, if that makes any sense at all. Anyway, there we are. So
perfect.
that's
The box with the 20 needles in, $15.99. And remember, they're covered in, they're covered. What's the
they're gold plated
in
British
gold.
standard, 2 microns.
Yeah, which is the same as the detonator on the British Army grenade.
Well done.
There you go. Remember, you see.
You do
right,
remember.
so let's move on to the other box of needles. Now, remember, you've taken the needle out of there.
I'm just going to count them. Yes, that one.
Okay. Yeah, and the sticker, you follow the sticker to get the order. Put them back where you took them out from, so you know you're putting the right size back in.
When we get to mention it in the stitch book, there is actually a little needle guide in the back.
I'll do it now. Stitch book here.
Well, you see, I don't put mine back where I got them from. I put them on my table or on my magnetic creature, and then I'm looking at them thinking, well, I don't know what you are.
Where? Oh, here you go.
And they're life-size needles.
Life-size needles.
So
Drop down a little bit, Emma, for me.
Yeah, you can actually put your needles on there to check what's what.
So you just lie your needle on here, and it will tell you the size of the needle that you're using. There you go.
If you needed to know.
If you needed to know.
Yeah. So this one is...
Which one would you use on a regular, what's the normal you would automatically go to?
Well, I think most 24 would be commonly used on 14 count Ada, 28 linen. I prefer a 26,
right,
which is generally what I work with, and a 28 for outlining.
Okay.
But 24 is the commonest, probably.
Right, lovely.
And the larger the size, the smaller the needle, just to keep you on your toes.
Yeah, keep you on your toes. Okay, so the other box we've got has got what in it?
So this came up as a second thing, really, when we started working with Sewing Street, because we're finding new cross stitches all the time, and you don't all have all the kit. So we thought this was a nice compromise, because this one, you know, it's a considered purchase, and you may not be using all those needles yet. So this has got cross stitch needles in, 24s and 26s. I'm just checking that I am, because John's watching. And a pair of nice sharp Italian scissors, which are sharp.
Okay.
So that's all you need to cross stitch.
Yes.
You will build up all sorts of other things like hippos and other stuff, but that's what you need.
Right, okay. Yeah, because we always say that when people take up a new hobby, to begin with, it's the outlying cost, and if you don't know you're going to enjoy something,
it can
but
be
then
silly.
But then you see, if you've done one of your kits, mostly your kits all come with needles in anyway.
Absolutely,
so you can just do a kit.
They usually come with a nickel-plated needle, usually wrapped in a little cellophane pack for safety. Yes, so the gold needles are delicious to use. I haven't used a nickel needle now for 25 years probably.
Yeah.
They work beautifully. If you're making knots, they slip off beautifully. They don't rust and mark your fabric if you've left it in a steamy spot. Yeah.
Oh, it's part of your workroom steamy then.
Well, not really, but my son's got a sauna upstairs in there.
Oh, excuse me.
Don't you know? Don't you know?
In his house?
Yes. Ooh. Well, you might be stitching in... Well, I wouldn't stitch in a sauna, actually, but
No, but maybe near the kettle. You might have left it near the
Yes,
kettle.
near the kettle.
There you go. Right, okay then. So let's move on to the first project of this hour,
Right.
which is the beaded biscuit new. I've got it in pansy and violet, and it comes in Ada and it comes in linen. Starting with Ada, which is this one.
Excuse me, everybody.
So in here you get the cottons, the needles, the shell buttons, the chart and coloured instructions. You also get beads in there as well. You also get some beads in here. Look, really lovely little, oh, that's right. Really lovely little beads. Brand new to us today. This is $15.99. Now, what is a biscuit nu?
Well, the name apparently comes from the French, meaning irregular or quirky. So what this is, if you look at the sideways view, when I've got it in a sideways place in a second.
And we'll just bring the camera around. There you go.
Right. If you see, it is a quirky shape.
Yes.
But what it is, actually, is two identical squares. And the middle of one is joined to the corner of another.
Right.
So actually you work two squares. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
And then you put it together. And then the button goes in the middle. From preference, I like mine, the button really tight.
Right.
I mean, really tight. I have been known to use Nymo or fish wire to get a really tight button.
Is there one button or two?
Two.
Oh, two. One for each side, yeah.
Yeah, one for each side. This example is actually worked on Ada fabric, so you can do that if you want. That would make a smashing first go at stitching, because you've got lots of colours, you've got some outlining, there's nothing complicated, and I lied about the beads, they are on there.
Okay, because Jane said her samples hadn't got beads on.
I was hunting for the beads. So the beads are a random thing that you choose where to put them on the top. There you are.
Just
So
a
it's
decoration.
a pin cushion.
It's lovely, isn't it? So it comes in, you get, oh, I might have, I think the,
Do you want me to open one up?
No. I think basically you've put the same it says on here, this pack includes pure linen, and this one says this pack includes pure linen, but actually one's Ada and one's linen. So that's the Ada one. Yours will have, yes, but so hang on. So which one have I got in at the moment? Ada, that's this one. Not that you can tell any difference, but it says on the front pure linen. You will get, if you do that number, you will get the Ada one, and then the other one here is definitely linen. So if you get that code, you'll definitely get the linen one.
And the worked one I've got here is on the Ada material.
Okay.
So you can see that it doesn't look
any different.
Any different.
No.
If you want to try counting from a chart and you've never done it, then this would be perfect.
The only difference would be the Ada is slightly creamier than the linen.
And that will vary because it does.
Well, linen does, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, sorry, I'll show that again. There you go. You see there. Perfect. Right, let's move on to learning on linen, because this is where we can do
Anne's question
about how she works on the linen. So this is called a blue gentian sampler. It's 4 by 4.5 inches. It's threads, needle. It's only on linen, this one. Yes. Only on the linen.
Yes.
You get your pre-sorted threads. Now there's a little, oh, I see, there are your symbols. You get your linen, you get your chart, and your full instructions.
And there's lots of instructions in these. These were done as a series. There were 4 in a series. There are 2 houses, and I think 2 baskets of flowers, I think, from memory.
Okay.
And they're intended to be first projects on linen because of people being nervous of doing it. As always, you would start in the middle of your fabric and thread, and you work over 2 fabric threads throughout with 2 strands of thread, cotton. Shall I open one, do you think?
Yeah, I've only got one here. Yes. So have you got one there? No, there you go. So what's a gentian then? I know I shouldn't throw things off, but I'm sanitised. She's sanitised, so we'll be fine.
I'm definitely sanitised.
You've had both your jabs now, haven't you?
I have. I'm not going to discuss how I felt this week.
No.
Because it would be mean.
And see, I was saying this on air the other day. I've had friends who were fine with the first one and then had the second one and felt rough. People who had the first one felt rough and feel fine with the second one. So I think it's just,
Of course, my family's all had COVID. So, of course, we don't know how much of our immune system is making me cough and splutter.
Yes, exactly.
Right, I'm going to show you this because it's quite useful when we're talking about working on linen.
Okay.
Okay, so there's the chart. So what we're doing here, now if you If you need to refresh on this, there is a video on the Cross Stitch Guild website called Stitch Basics, where it is this very design that I'm talking about.
Okay, just tell us where we go to look at that.
crossstitchguild.com.
Okay.
So this very chart, I talk about how to get this to there. We had one lady, you know, she rang me up, and I remember her name, Irene Gold, married to John Coachman. This is going back a lot of years. And she rang me and said, I've ironed it wet, I've ironed it dry, and the pattern didn't come out.
What?
Well, she thought it was a transfer.
Oh, so it's a transfer.
And it isn't.
Oh, can you imagine that? That would be complete. Anyway.
So your pre-sorted threads, as I showed this morning, you can take one thread off. So I will do that.
Okay, I've got a quick question to ask you. I don't understand what it means. From Melanie saying, hi John, can you ask Jane if she does needle minders that attach to the cross stitcher? Right, if she means the person, the Cross Stitch Guild do make needle tokens which you can wear on your jumper. Right. Obviously putting lots of needles on your jumper. If you mean to your cross stitching, I'm not Melanie,
sure.
Can you expand on your question?
We're
not quite sure. We're not quite sure what it means.
I'm not quite understanding that.
Alison Marion said, hope I'm okay after my second jab because it's my birthday the next day. Oh, you got yours already lined up, Alison?
I'm not spitting, obviously.
No.
So
we're not going to touch it afterwards. You can pack away.
I'll pack it away. Okay, so just...
And it won't, oh, by the way, it won't be coming to you. This one won't be coming to you
yes,
either.
don't worry, don't worry. This isn't... No, this is one I've handled.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to the fabric. So I got linen. You can tell because it's got the orange run down the side. I'm just going to press this into 4. As I said before, linen will stay pressed.
Would you press out the other ones first? So it's completely
Yeah,
flat?
I usually say in the instructions just to press your fabric before you start. And if you're working a big project, I would oversew the edges. Because linen does fray, as it's patently obvious here, look. Yeah. Right, now I've taken one strand, just one, and I've folded it in half. So I've got the loop on the end. Can you see that? Yeah. Okay. Right, I'm going to bring my needle up in the middle. Let's be in the middle, Jane, shall we? Okay, now this is where it gets really mean on the guys in the gallery. Can you get in really close for me?
She's coming in, there you go.
Coming in, coming in.
Okay. There you go, perfect.
Right, I'm crossing 2 fabric threads. Turning over. And going through the loop on the back. And there's half my first cross stitch done.
And that's dead centre, is it?
And that's, well, it's nearly dead centre, actually. Just my glasses aren't on, as you can see.
Oh, no, did you not bring them with you? Because you were so busy in between the shows, weren't you?
What he's trying to tell you, everybody, is I had a light nap in the green room. Because, of course, I was up at 4 o'clock this morning.
There's a question for you here that says, can you ask Jane what her secret is to how she rocks the effortless, glamorous look every day?
Well, you're an absolute sweetheart, and trust me, I don't.
I didn't ask you. It was Princess.
Well, Princess, whoever you are, it's extremely sweet of you if you knew the awful truth. I'm not saying any more, gallery. Right, now I'm working along here, look.
Okay.
So I work my cross stitches in one direction first and back again.
Oh, they were awful then, weren't they? One direction, band. It's been a joy watching today, says Linda. Perfect company after my second jab yesterday. Love to you all.
Oh, nice. Have a nice rest, sweetie. So if you can look at that, you can see that I've done half cross stitches.
Right.
So my first one was a complete one to anchor the thread.
Right.
So I'm counting over 2 fabric threads, and I'm going to go back again.
Right. And do you always do that then?
I try to.
Right.
And the reason is you get those lovely vertical lines on the back.
Oh, I know.
Which when
when you
come to finish off are perfect.
Yeah.
You know, when somebody looks at my cross-stitching and goes, oh, that's nice, and does that, I strike them.
Oh, right, okay. We don't condone violence here at Sewing Street.
All right? They get their hands smacked because it's just so rude. But actually, when you come to mount and frame something you've spent hours and hours and hours working on, and you can see the bobbles and the whiskers and the lumps, you'll be sad.
Yeah.
And you will become your harshest critic, without doubt. Every time you do a piece, you'll think, oh, if only I've miscounted here, by the way.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, I just thought I'd mention that. I just whipped that last one out.
Oh.
There we go.
Oh. Oh.
You obviously never put needles in your mouth either.
No. And you take the needle to the thread, not the thread to the needle.
And there we are. So I'll try that exercise again. So I tend to work in my hand. A big project will be rolled so that I'm holding the back of the material in my hand rather than the front. It means that if I get grubby hands, it's on the back.
Okay, Melanie's come back. Melanie was the one who said,
Yes.
can you ask James? Right, what she means is to hold the needle on the cross-stitch work if you have to stop and put it away.
If you're using gold plates, you don't need to.
Right.
And yes, there are some about that usually they stick to a frame or a hoop that you're working on. And I don't use a frame or a hoop.
Right.
Rarely, just occasionally. And I have one of Sue Hawkins' padded frames, which is like a needlework frame, rectangular, but it's upholstered.
Right. See.
So I can take a piece of stitching I'm doing and I can pin it on that frame, do what I want to do and take it off again quickly. Because as a rule I work in my hands. I mean, I have stitching in my car. I can remember once I was on the M25.
Not driving, obviously.
Well, I was on the M25 driving.
Oh.
And we hit one of the car parks you sometimes hit on that road. And after 20 minutes, I got out, got in the boot, got my stitching. And I got back in again and I sat down and I was quietly stitching away there. And this police motorbike went past. It was ever so funny because he went past and you could see him go, hang on a minute. And he came back on his bike like this. And I said, the ignition's turned off, officer. This is legal.
Yeah.
I haven't this much time to waste.
Oh.
So he went away. So that's how you work on linen. Okay, that's it. You see, there is a temptation, particularly if you've got a friend who's very keen working on linen, will say, well, you know, practice a bit harder and then you'll be fine. And linen's harder. Well, it isn't harder. I learnt on linen because I didn't know about Ada.
Right.
When I was shown, that's what she gave me to work on. I didn't do it very well. I can't find it to show you, sadly. But it was a strawberry, and it wasn't special, I have to say. But if I bring this stitching up here again and we get in close.
Oh, yeah.
If you look at the stitching, you'll notice that the way to make it look lovely is to make sure the top stitch is facing the same way. So whichever way you decide to do your cross stitch, and it doesn't matter which way, try and stick to the same way.
Right.
So I work left to right, right to left. If you're going up and down the border, that's fine. If you have to turn the work, if you turn it just 180 degrees, your crosses now will face another way. So just remember, if you're going to turn it all the way to work this bit.
Right, yeah.
And just keep an eye on it, because if your cross stitch doesn't face the same way, it doesn't look as pretty.
Okay.
That's the only real rule. And if you think about linen, if you think of noughts and crosses, that's what you're working your cross stitches on.
Yeah.
You're going to use the bottom left and top right, and the bottom right and the top left for your cross stitches. Then if you have to make any fractional stitches, which I don't do very much, being a bit traditional, but Jo Verso, who was one of the finest designers we've ever had, she made very modern samplers, you know, with PowerPoints and and tractors and things for hobbies. She used a lot of fractional stitches, and if you work on linen or an even weave, that middle hole you've left empty will be for your fractional stitch,
Right.
which makes it much, much easier.
Right, I've got a question for you. Barbara says, hello, John. I bought the country sample book last time Jane was on.
Lovely.
Unfortunately, I'm struggling with how the four-sided stitch is done. Can you help, please?
Yes, watch. let me just get another bit of thread because this will be,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
four-sided stitch coming up. So the trick with four-sided stitch is that the top is straight and the back is diagonal. And I will show you what it should look like. Now, generally, four-sided stitch is done in the same colour as the material because it's the holes you're making, or fish, it's the holes you're making that are interesting rather than the stitch.
Okay.
So it's a pulled stitch. We
Right.
did have a bumper sticker once that said cross stitchers can't pull, but my husband decided it wasn't appropriate, so we
Oh
didn't
no,
do it
I
anymore.
should hope not.
I'm going to do it on this big stuff so you can see.
Okay.
Right, I'm going to bring my
Right, so
needle
Barbara,
up.
you ready?
Right, it's often worked over 4 threads. It certainly is on the project you've got there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Through the loop on the back. Okay. Now, if I get started from there, just bear with me a second, it'll become obvious. Right, straight on the front, diagonal on the back. And notice I'm pulling. Pull, straight on the front, diagonal on the back. Straight on the front, diagonal on the back. Now bear with me. I think that's 4. My glasses are in the green room.
Yeah.
I expect they fell off my nose when I was snoring.
You said it.
Diagonal on the back. And notice I'm pulling when I move on. Now, if you did this in antique white on white, what you see, I haven't got anything here with it on, unfortunately, but you get crosses on the back.
Right.
So if you're not sure, you're not doing it right if you haven't got crosses on the back. That's what gives the tension on the fabric. So that's a stitch you wouldn't work on one of those modern even weaves I was talking about just now. It's in the stitch book, actually. That would be a quicker place
Oh, in the
to
stitch
look.
book? Would it be in
if
there?
you go in there under four-sided, it will show.
If I go into where, sorry? Four-sided.
Yeah, four-sided, it will show.
I'll just look it up. Four-sided stitch, page 46.
Okay.
There you go.
And actually, if you look at that diagram, that's really brilliant. That's one Ethan did for us. You can see, can't you, that the stitch looks like that on the front, and you're getting little holes on the corners.
Oh,
and
yes.
the narrative there does explain that.
So it's when you pull it, you're pulling the corners in slightly.
Yeah.
Perfect. Right, Helen says, I got the wrong fabric bundle. I bought Ada instead of even weed. Sad face. Can I still do hardanger with any of the fabrics?
Which fabric?
She bought the Ada.
I have seen. I've just lost my mic.
Oh, excuse me.
I'm just going down here.
Shall I tell you about this book while you search out? £12.99. It's a stitch guide. It's signed. Every single stitch that you can imagine is in there with an Ethan drawing next to it and all the instructions. And not just that, it has got a bit of hardanger in the back and a bit of all sorts of stuff in the back as well. Right, you're back with us.
I'm back. I think I'm back as long as Hannah can still hear me.
Can you hear us, Emma? Yeah, fine.
Right. I have seen hardanger done on Ada fabric. It doesn't work as well.
Okay.
That's the best I can say to that. It doesn't work quite as well. The nature of the fabric isn't the same, and you're pulling out threads, so it's quite difficult. So keep your eyes skinned for another linen even weave one.
Oh, I'm sorry about
Bad luck,
that, Helen.
sweetie.
Fair play to Jane. She threaded that needle like a champion with no glasses on, says Kate with a C. I've got to tell you, the Biscornu, both of them are half sold out. Right, I've got another kit here, which is called the Colonial Williamsburg Sampler.
Which is
brand new to us today. This is on linen, only on linen.
It is.
Oh, it's cute, isn't it? People have already bought this on pre-order.
It's, yeah, I like it very much, actually.
And what is it then?
Well, it started off as a class. We took a party of ladies to Virginia, to the Colonial Williamsburg Museum, DeWitt Museum, where they have some early American samplers. And so this was part of their project, was to work this. It's what we call a band sampler. Now, it's the first time we've had a band sampler today, so if you think of what a sampler is, I think that if you don't know anything about these things, you would think this little one with the little house on it was a sampler.
Yeah.
Because it's got alphabets, it's got an initial, it's got a tree,
Yeah.
either side of a house. Well, they were much later, earlier samplers, band samplers, were things that were woven very narrow, like the linen band we've talked about this morning.
Mm-hmm.
And they were kept as a aide memoire. So you'd find a pattern you like, you'd copy it on your band, and then you'd roll it up and put it in the drawer, and then someday you'd want that pattern and you'd go and get it and find it. So they were works of reference.
Right.
They weren't things to put on walls. Now, there are at Whitney Antiques, there are band samplers for £40,000.
Okay. Original ones, not Jane Greenoff ones.
So they are very, very collectible, and they're often finished with an edge. So this is my nod towards those things. You're shown how to make the hem
Right.
around the edge.
Mm-hmm.
The satin stitch on here. There's a few extra stitches. And it's just lovely. It's a nice thing to do. I wouldn't consider it a first project.
No.
But once you've worked from a chart and worked on linen once, you'll be absolutely fine with that.
Perfect. Barbara says, thank you so much, Jane. I've ordered the stitch book. That explanation helps until the book arrives. I was just confused about the holes in the corner. And Kay says, just finished my first cross-stitch project of my little church on the north coast, Northern Ireland on Ada.
Well done.
Don't know how to upload a photo. Okay, don't worry. I really enjoyed doing it. Also purchased Jane's 4 Little Flowers projects on linen. Have to say, using linen was a struggle for me, but have one almost finished.
Good girl, well done. And remember that the other thing about linen is that it comes in lots of different weights and thicknesses. So if you can't see the one you're working on, try a bigger one.
Yeah.
You don't have to give up on linen, just get bigger linen.
Also, it's just getting used to it, isn't it? Right, I've got a slide to show you here.
Oh my word.
Hi, John and Jane. Please see attached project
Terry.
purchased from the Guild. Best wishes from Terry in South Shields. I remember that one. I remember seeing that one.
Well done, that girl. That's amazing. So that's the Traveller's Stitcher's Pocket. So it's got a sailing ship, obviously a biplane, and a liner. And it folds into a pocket. And we had it on there last time I was here,
I think there are 2 left on the website. There are 2 apparently left on the website if you want that.
So well done, that's really good.
Search cross stitch.
I'm always pleased to see things look like my charms.
Oh.
It's smashing, isn't it?
Beautiful.
Well done.
Really lovely. Right, now I've got to just mention the eye stitch first before I go any further. Can you just, we're not going to show how it works or anything today. Can you just explain what it is?
Well, it's a DVD,
Yeah.
but it doesn't go in your television. It's a DVD because we couldn't get everything on a CD.
Right.
And it is the cross-stitch program that I use at home
Right.
for designing. So I started off designing on graph paper with rotring pens and a lot of Tipp-Ex and rubbers. And Ian Lawson-Smith created a design program which she introduced Joe Verso, who I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
And Joe rang me and said, you need to try this. It's just change your life. And it does. And so, of course, they've advanced enormously since I had my first program.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my first computer from Ian was a 486, so it wasn't even a Pentium, and it was £5,000. With a program, a printer, no, 2 printers, a Word program, his program, and the computer, and a big monitor. It was £5,000.
There you go.
And now you'd have a struggle to spend £5,000.
Exactly. Jan
on
loves
a
your eye
machine.
stitch. So if you get this, you put it in your computer.
Yes.
You can design your own.
Yes, you can draw freehand with the mouse. There are 14 shade cards on it. It's worth buying them for that.
Yeah.
There's 14 shade cards with all the numbers. When you design something, it will tell you what you need. It will give you a list of the colours. So you decide which manufacturer you want to use, and you set that up on the machine, and it gives you a key or a shopping list. There are 2,500 patterns on there already.
For
from
free?
myself. Yeah, on there
Well,
now.
I mean, not for free. When you buy it for $29.99,
Yeah.
there are how many patterns? You say?
2,500. So there are lots of, there's actually more than that, but there are 2,500 of mine.
Okay.
little patterns of different things. And in addition to that, if you put that in your machine and the DVD's in there, you can watch videos of my hands doing stitches.
Perfect.
Which is really helpful.
Can't you also, if you've got like a picture of your favourite house or flower from the garden, you can put a photograph in.
And it will turn it into a cross stitch.
So isn't that brilliant?
I'm just going to say here, right, because I do get phone calls, it will work. I don't scan things in because I break every copyright law in the land because it's inappropriate.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
You can imagine, can't you? Wouldn't be the way to go on, really.
Yeah.
But you can scan things in, but it's only as good as your picture.
Right.
So the white dog in a snowy field is going to be challenging.
Right.
So just be sensible.
But if it's your house on a sunny day.
Yeah, absolutely, a photograph. And you can scan it in. It may come in enormous, but you can send it away again in a second and make it smaller.
Okay.
And all the help menus on there, you just click help and you just look down in alphabetical order.
So there's stitches, there's patterns, there's videos of you doing the stitches, and how many patterns did yours do?
2,500 of mine.
2,500 of yours, and the colour charts and everything like that. And please don't think, oh, I can't use a computer, I can't use It's not difficult. I don't mean to be rude, but
say it. Go on,
if she
say
can do it, you can do it.
When Ian came to see me originally, and I said, right, this is the deal. I can use this before you leave, or I don't pay you.
Okay.
So Joe Verso had said the same to him, so I knew I could do it. And he said, right, okay, you'll be able to do it. Oh, yeah, okay. And I could actually do it. You obviously get better.
Yes, of course.
And I have got a cartoon on my kitchen wall that someone did for me some years ago, where it said, what do you do now you've got the computer and so much spare time? And there's a picture of the computer with all these beautiful patterns spewing out of it. Of course, it can only send out what you've put in.
Yeah.
But what it will do is remove some of the boring stuff.
Yes.
If you could imagine, okay, this is not really boring, but imagine I was working on this little sampler again.
Yeah.
When I've drawn that little flower and I'm happy with it, I can copy and paste. It doesn't mean that I'm not working any harder. I just spend more time designing the flower.
So you haven't got to then say, oh, got to. And will it
repetition.
reverse it? Because
Yes.
obviously if they face it. So you
Mirror
can draw something you
images.
love and repeat it and mirror it so you don't have to
That's
then
right.
sit and do the chart for
I
it.
did a birth sampler for my son before the computer.
The one with the sauna.
The one with the sauna,
Yeah.
who's 40 this year. And it has kites round it. I had to draw each kite individually. Then I had to mirror them in a mirror to put them over on the other side.
Of course.
Now it would be an instant.
Yeah, exactly.
So you spend more time designing a really good kite, because if you've got to repaint it 27 times.
Yeah, of course. And of course you can just click on it and change it from a blue one to a pink one to a yellow one to a red one.
Absolutely.
Right, very quickly, I just need to recap this from the first hour, the token of love. Obviously you don't get the frame, you get the kit to make it. It's just Hannah can't find the kit at the moment. You can get it on Ada and you can get it on linen. There you go, £29.99. That's the Ada one. This is not Ada, this is
linen.
This is linen, yeah,
that
this is
one's
linen.
on linen.
Oh, we got it on linen as well. Okay, put the linen graphics through. $29.99. Right, if you've been inspired by Jane saying, thinking, oh, I like that, but I want something maybe a little bit more simpler and anything like that, go to our website and then you search Cross Stitch Guild. Right, now these are all limited. These have not got high numbers in them, but there are all the projects we've got of Jane's.
And some nice small ones there as well. There's little butterflies you could do. And
Yeah, exactly.
The tulips, you don't need a big thing, do you?
You won't find today's projects on there. Today's projects are on the live page on the website. That's just in the shop. That's just in the shop there. Okay, there's a few other things there. They're not Jane's Cross Stitch. Yeah, Cross Stitch Guild, no, that's Sashko, no. Anyway, so that's that one. If you want to go and have a look there. Very quickly, I've also got this. This is when the graphics went down, so we're just going to play them through properly for you.
Oh, lovely.
Really, really beautiful. Now, don't panic about doing this because it actually comes like that. You get all that on. It comes, what's it called? A band.
Yeah, band. Yeah, linen band. Yeah.
£21.99. What you do is you stitch this side, then you put the felt in, and then or the wool in, and you pull it over and stitch it down. And then this is the lovely ladder with the thread running through it there. Oh dear me, I'm
dear.
not doing very well at
Poor
all
old
today.
thing.
She just accused me of eating chocolate. I haven't eaten chocolate for weeks now. I did have tomatoes last night, you see, that's what it could be. I know, my new diet. £21.99. The big score news, most popular in this show. Very quickly before we move on. So we've got it in linen and we've got it in Ada. Level pegging at the moment. There's the Ada one for £15.99. Three left of those.
Oh, goodness.
And then the linen one. Exactly the same situation, but the three of those as well. And there are the three of those as well. That's made in Ada, that one there that you're seeing the picture of there, not linen.
Yes.
And there's three of those left. Right, thank you very much. Thank you, Jane. We've got to go because we've got to run down to the other studios to do the Yarn Lane now. So I just need to do the menu. When are you next, you know?
End of the month, end of, where are we now? End of May.
End of May. End of May. Fantastic. Right. Okay, here's tomorrow's menu for Sewing Street. Here it is. Rainbow pleat cushion and pouch with Sally Ann Harrison at 8 o'clock. 9 o'clock, we've got the Moda Dwell in Possibility fabrics. Oh, I say, that's a new range to me. 10 o'clock, we've got the Cheerful Carrier with Sally Ann Harrison. 11 o'clock, we've got the Perfect Tool for the Job. And I'm presenting that. And then 12 o'clock tomorrow, we're going to Yarn Lane. We've got Carol Ibbotson tomorrow doing shawls and cowls in cool wool designs. Right, now, if you're watching the telly, just stay where you are. You don't need to do anything. If you're watching on the website, on YouTube, or on Facebook Live, you do need to swap over to the Yarn Lane version of those. If you bought anything this morning on Sewing Street, your P&P is covered if you want to buy anything on Yarn Lane. But the products from today's show on Sewing Street do not go onto Yarn Lane website. Neither do the Yarn Lane website ones. Products go onto our website. But as I say, your P&P is covered for the day. So we will see you on Sewing Street at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, and we will see you on Yarn Lane with Vanessa in about 5 minutes from now.